Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Why don't we start this podcast by saying that we've probably been streaming on Twitch longer than 95% of the people on Twitch, and I have no idea how most of the inner workings of Twitch work.
I mean, it's more than 95%, because, I mean, really...
I'm just being modest, Bradley.
Okay.
99%. How's that?
Probably.
Yeah. I find it funny. I have no idea.
Really
I don't know
up,
what a
so.
bit is. I don't know how bits work. It's very strange. But anyways, thank you very
there's
much.
There's 8 of them in a byte.
That's a different byte. I'm pretty sure. But anyways...
Successful people know what bits are.
Oh,
Wait, so what's up from byte?
that's so sad.
Megabyte?
Kilobyte.
Kilobyte? And that's 100 bytes?
1,000. Technically 1,024.
So 8 times 1,000.
This is the podcast, by the way.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, this is the show. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode 578. It is, I haven't been saying the date for a very long time on these shows because I'm a terrible host. I'm going to go ahead and start saying it again.
Okay.
November 8th, 2018. My name is Nick Henderson. I'm joined this evening by Brad Simons,
Yo.
Nolan Hedstrom,
Hello.
Christopher Guthridge,
Hello.
and on the 5th mic, our video producer, Christopher Davis.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you. And, of course, we're here to talk about video games, as we always do. We have a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about more Red Dead Redemption 2. We're going to sink our teeth into the Fallout 76 beta, also Deltarune, a few other things. There's some big news to talk about. And, of course, in the second segment, I want to remind everybody we'll do we'll read the next responses from our supporter spotlight for the month, which is Dr. Waltz. But before we do that, how's everybody doing? How's everybody on the couch doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
Everybody doing good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah? Just okay?
Yeah, like maybe 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a gross rainy day. You know?
It is kind of gross here in Austin, Texas.
I'd be doing better if I was playing Red Dead right now.
I completely agree. But anyways, let's get to it,
I'd
guys.
be doing a lot better if I was playing Thronebreaker right now.
Ooh, I
Still
need to
going with
play
that?
I've been playing a lot of that, actually.
That sounds like...
I started playing that.
God damn it.
we're going to hear maybe get some early impressions from you tonight on that as well,
I want to
perhaps?
thank Nolan for recommending it.
Wait, I recommended it.
That's the joke. That's the joke, Brad.
I know the joke.
Welcome to the party.
Actually.
Oh my god.
No, what?
No, go ahead. By all means.
Wait, is this a party?
This is a podcast.
This is serious.
No. We're good.
This is serious business. Anyways,
So we're going to talk about election results?
No, we're not. Don't even bring that.
Hey,
shit
Williamson
up.
County, we flipped two.
Yes, that is true.
We flipped two.
You know what?
House
You know what?
Nice.
Oh god, no. Let's
Sorry,
that's
Nick.
not. Why?
Let's talk about video games.
Let's talk about video games, please.
But first,
before we talk about
I'm
video
hearing
games,
a little bit. Is that feedback I hear on the mic?
you might be
feedback?
hearing some feedback.
Oh.
That was a good transition. All right, let's talk about. Let's read some feedback from our last episode. Of course, guys. Reminder: if you hear something that we say on the show that you want to chime in on, if you have an opinion or whatever that you'd like to leave, drop us a comment on the post for this episode at 4playernetwork.com, and we'll read it at the start of the next show. Doing so also enters you in the drawing for a monthly game giveaway that we do, and I just realized I should have drawn a winner before tonight's show, but I didn't, so I'll announce that next week, and we'll give away a free game. So, our first bit of feedback tonight comes from Drew327. He says, I played a ton of the Gwent beta. Brad is spot on about Thronebreaker. I think the official name, though, is Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tales. Which I fucked up too. I googled that like 3 times and I still fucked it up in the description somehow.
Wait, is that right?
I think so.
The Witcher Tales?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tales.
Oh, I thought it was the Witcher
We put
Tales.
The Witcher Tales Thronebreaker.
I thought it was.
Wait, can we get a fact check on this?
No, we're on a live podcast.
That doesn't matter. Hey,
Everybody, stop what you're doing.
But I think the Witcher Tales is the title.
Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tales.
Oh, okay.
That's a weird name then.
We
because you're not even a Witcher.
Yeah, but it's Tales from the Witcher universe.
Which if
The
that's
Witcher-
the case, then it should have been the first.
The Witcher Tales.
If what you're saying is,
Brad, this is the
then
world-
that should have been first.
Brad, this is the world of video games where titles half the time don't make any fucking sense.
Stupid.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption 1. It makes no fucking sense.
Did y'all
at
watch
all.
the story trailer for Thronebreaker like I told you? That was y'all's homework.
No, why don't we do it during the break?
Okay.
Because I would like to watch that. Anyways, let's continue on with Drew's comment or feedback. He says, oh shit, where did I go?
Haven't
He
seen
says,
any-
great production value and compelling story so far. Also, Chris Davis, can you blow it up just a little bit so I
Dude,
can...
I was making fucking. Go fucking look at the footage of me trying to tell Chris Davis to make the text bigger.
Make it
For,
bigger.
like, the
That's
first
not
Make
sign
it-
language.
Make it bigger, Chris
And so I was doing
Davis.
like this, bigger.
This is
And
the
I'm
sign.
like staring at him over
That's
here.
fantastic.
Here's the cue, guys.
No, this is the sign we give to Chris Davis.
I'm pretty
when we
sure
want him to
Nick
make it
doing
bigger.
this and squinting at the
Binoculars.
screen is the sign.
We will get through Drew's comment eventually.
Okay.
He goes on to say, haven't seen any marketing, but they do a lot of streams on CD Projekt's Twitch channel that hyped up the game for me. It was probably just seen by Gwent players. Probably
yeah,
just
the
seen
most
by Gwent
expensive
players.
marketing.
So that's what I was gonna say, Nick, and
That's
that's kind of my problem with that logic. Is it's like you're preaching to the choir. It's like, hey guys that like our stuff, you're gonna like this stuff, but that's not how you market a game. You got to market it to the people who
You
don't
gotta,
know about it.
you gotta get the word out.
That's the same way they did Gwent when it originally released, though, wasn't it? Like
Probably.
they focused most of their marketing on
Dude,
word of mouth, YouTube, and streams.
They at fucking E3 they
had that
billboard
one giant
signs.
billboard. They had that one
They had the
at
Figueroa.
E3
They had the Figueroa.
that featured YouTubers and streamers.
But I
like,
think they also
prominently.
talked
I
about
had
it on
no
a bunch
idea
of
that
But
was
like,
YouTubers
but like
and streamers
the
on there.
majority of that campaign was surrounded around like what they're doing now, which made more sense when they were trying to get people aware that this thing existed. But now everyone's aware, and they don't know that this is
Yeah.
something completely like really different. You know.
I mean, until last week, I didn't know these were two different games. So, anyways, he goes on to say, you do unlock a lot of things for Gwent multiplayer, which does have standard cards and animated cards. The multiplayer is separated out because it is free, and there is a good daily reward for playing. Over time, you do earn the animated cards. Yeah.
Cool.
Interesting. Good to know. Can you scroll down, por favor? Thank you. Okay, grab a beer.
I wish.
Grab a beer. Says, the reveal of the final Smash characters and the release of Red Dead Redemption 2 really has me thinking about the way video game developers think and how fan bases critique their products. I myself am disappointed that there will be several uninteresting characters like Isabelle and Dark Pit in the new Smash, instead of just a few more desirable fighters. However, it's still going to be a great game, and I would never cancel my pre-order like many already have.
I'm sure that game's gonna do just fine.
Yeah, that game is going to do just fine. Even
Although the Belmonts look bad.
I do. It's just one of those games that's like, you know, it has such a huge following, huge fan base. There's no matter how you feel about it, there's gonna be some characters for everybody in there, even if you don't get, you know, the characters in there that you want.
Belmonts look bad.
How so?
They're so since it's based on like Castlevania characters, in fact, classic Castlevania
Like
characters,
NES era?
like there's like wind up and long recovery on all of their whip attacks, which are basically most of their normals.
Yeah.
So they're just slow to act and slow to recover, which is, you know, really bad in Smash. I mean, slower characters like that are not the ones that are end up being very successful. And you know, their damage doesn't seem crazy either. So and they have projectiles, but that they don't even seem that good compared to, like, you know, Lynx and some of the other characters that are much more projectile based. So they just seem kind of weak. Not just that, but their whip is when you throw it out, it's like almost always like, you know, a straight attack, and it's got a very narrow hitbox. So if you're kind of like if you're like just above or just below, you're gonna like whiff the enemy, and that's just combined with the long recovery. That's just a bad time. So I don't know. We'll
You know,
see.
on a general level, the way I feel about Super Smash, and I feel the way I'm going to be able to tell if this is a game that I'm going to ultimately end up liking, if I pick this game up and within like an hour I'm back to playing as Samus again, I'm going to be like,
But Dark Samus is in the game now.
oh, shut up. Shut up. All right. He goes on to say, Red Dead 2 is a magnificent experience, though many quit playing and gave it a 0 out of 10. I think that's being a little facetious, but because of a slow opening and a few rough mechanics such as randomly being unequipped after being on because of a slow opening and a few rough mechanics, such as something being randomly being unequipped after being on a horse. So if you get off the horse, sometimes you walk away from the horse and then
You don't realize you don't have your weapon.
You left all your shit on the horse.
I mean, that's a realistic thing that when you're riding your horse, slowly after a couple of seconds, he'll take off his weapon and store it on the horse.
Yeah.
And if you get off the horse and don't put it back on, all you got is your sidearms.
Because the horse is there to help you carry things,
Yeah.
so he naturally just kind
realistic.
of puts things back on the horse. But yeah, it can get annoying sometimes. But I've actually adapted to that pretty well, I think, over time. But he says I'd like to say that this large group of gamers tend to be over exaggerate and blow things out of proportion, but it would be wrong to say these things really do. I think he means to say don't bug me. It would be wrong to say these things really. Oh my god. Someone help me with this.
It says, it would be wrong to
be
say these things really do bug me, and I kind of view them as a massive oversight.
Oh, okay. So they do bug him,
Yeah.
and he considers them a massive oversight, although I think it's completely intentional that they're this is something I was saying in Discord the other day. I was talking to someone. Oh, I guess here I'll finish the comment first. He says, can certain small annoyances, disappointments really make or break a game to the extent of how people view these two games? I really don't know. And this is what I was talking about last week, where I think a lot of people are focusing on this conversation of, is Red Dead 2 real, and is the realism at the is this super high level of realism at the expense of fun?
know. I haven't gotten dysentery yet, so it's clearly not too real.
Very true. Fucking, you're not getting malaria and shit like you did in Far Cry 2, and but the thing is, I was thinking about this game. I was talking about this in Discord the other day, but like, Red Dead really is kind of like a fucking sim. Like it's so real.
It's sim light.
It's so real that like you really have to you can't just do things and expect things to work. Like they would in any other video game. You have to think about how would this affect something in real life.
It's funny you bring up Far Cry 2 because I heard it described on another podcast as if. They said, how a lot of people are saying, like, this game is becoming more Far Cry. Assassin's Creed's becoming more Far Cry. A lot of open world games are feeling kind of Far Cry-esque. It's almost as if, like, Red Dead Redemption 2 was designed as if Far Cry 2 was the one that sort of became the template for open world games, and not Far Cry 3 and beyond, which is the reality. Yeah, and that it has like you play Far Cry.
Yeah, but the thing is, Far Cry 2 also has a lot of what I would actually describe as glaring oversights, like driving. Yeah, but
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more of like a design philosophy.
But let me tell you something, Nick. Every game has oversights and issues. Yeah, it's like it's almost next to impossible to put out a game that is perfect.
But I will say this, considering the size and the scope of this game, like this game is. It's ridiculous to me how polished this game is for its size. And
when you're working 100 hours a week,
we'll be talking about Red Dead quite a bit later.
Yeah, we will talk more about Red Dead. So thank you for your comment. Also, Grab a Beer was the one who was talking about he beat Symphony of the Night on your recommendation, and you said it was your final boss Dracula. Okay. He says yes, it was Dracula. The final boss was Dracula, and Maria does not love me.
Okay.
If that answers your question.
Yeah.
All right. Tobly says. I quite enjoyed Brad hyping up Thronebreaker this week. Even though I am a massive Witcher fan and I was aware of the game, I did not put it high on my priority list. I guess that means he is probably going to put it on his list now. So that's good to know. And that last comment we're not going to read because he said you don't need to read this in the show.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you guys very much for your feedback. Like I said, if there's anything you want to say after tonight's episode, drop us a comment over at 4playernetwork.com on the post for this episode, and we'll get to it next week. Also, before we get too far, real quick, I want to mention a couple things. Discord, if you're a member of the community, if you're listening for the first time and you want to be a part of discussion, or you want someone to just talk about video games with, join us in Discord. It's discord.gg/4player. You can hang out in there. We're in there all day. There's a bunch of people from the community in there all day talking about everything video game related, pop culture related, weird random shit happening in general, whatever it may be.
I'm in general right now. The last thing that was posted in general was from Zlade, and it was a link to the podcast tweet.
Nice.
I really thought you were going somewhere with that, and then ended with that. But anyways, yeah, discord.gg/4player is a great place to hang out with us. It's free. It's a great way to support the show, be a part of the community, all that good stuff. Also, if you want to support us on Patreon, right now we're hoping to we're collectively as a community working towards our next goal. And once we hit, I think it's $800 is our next goal. Once we hit $800 a month, we're going to invest in some new headphones that will hopefully help us kind of balance out the audio on the podcast. We do realize our audio on the show can sometimes be kind of all over the place. So our next goal is to get some headphones, help us balance that out, so we can hear ourselves while we're talking every week, which would be very helpful.
It definitely helps. That way, when we're kind of talking and we start looking away, we know that we're doing it.
Yeah, we can be cognizant of it and know how it affects the audio of the show. So yeah, every dollar helps. If you want to support us, you can support us for as little as $1 a month. That gives you the ability to ask us questions, and then as you pledge more, you get additional perks and whatnot. But you can find out more about that at patreon.com/4Player. Check it out. We hear from our November supporter spotlight in the second segment, Dr. Waltz.
Who was in chat tonight?
Who is in chat tonight, yeah. What was this, Brad?
I'm just looking in our Discord because there's lots of funny stuff. Here, Nolan will appreciate it.
Let me see.
And Crispy. I like it.
That's pretty good.
Oh my god.
That's pretty
You
good.
can find out what the hell we're looking at discord.gg/4player.
Also accurate.
All right, so let's get on with the show tonight, guys.
Fucking USBs.
Fucking USB Type A.
Hey, speaking of which, do you have my USB, Crispy?
Yeah.
No, it's
Damn
still
it.
here. It's still here.
Oh.
I never took it.
Yeah.
He uploaded it.
Wonderful.
So
That's
no,
not true. 4Player podcast. I hang out in gaming, but I also hang out in the meetings room.
The meeting room where no one else can get in.
Ivory
Anyways,
Tower.
let's get on with the show, guys. We got a lot of video games to talk about. Like I said, we'll get to Red Dead 2 in a while, but I would like to open with 2 new games we haven't talked about yet. Brad?
Yeah.
Tell us.
The Red Dead channel is still called Red Dead Redemption.
I changed it
2.
to Red Dead Redemption
Okay.
2. Because someone used to say Rad. Wait.
I once changed
It
it
used
to
to say
Dab
Rad
Dab Dib Dib Dab Dabtion 2.
Dab
Dab Dabtion 2.
Yeah. So much dabbing is happening in the Red Dead Redemption.
Chris Davis is in there all the time.
You mean Chris Davis?
Davis in it away.
Chris Davis? So much dabbing going on under Discord. It's so much fun. Anyways, Brad,
Yes.
can you lead us off tonight by telling us about...
Okay.
First of all, let me just say, when I saw this in the doc, I totally thought you were going to talk about that From Software VR game, which is called something else that starts with a D.
Oh, no.
And then I realized this was totally not what I was
No.
thinking. Tell us about...
Deltarune.
Thank you.
I will say, this is not a long game, and I have not finished it. What I have been spending a majority of my time this past week playing is Thronebreaker and Valkyria Chronicles 4, but since I've talked about those before, I will talk about this, which I did play some of, because it's pretty cool. So Deltarune, as you might have noticed, is an anagram.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Of
For Undertale.
That's right.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that until this second.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. So the creator of Undertale, Toby Fox, just put out this game. It's for free. It is it's sort of not entirely a sequel to Undertale, but it is more or less another game that is kind of like Undertale. And like Undertale, the graphics are very understated.
Oh, no.
It is. It's very understated, Brad.
No.
So is this a full game, or is this like
This is a full game.
a demo for something?
And so you play
It
as
is not a
you-
demo.
You play as a
'Cause
blind
I
character,
I
right?
thought I'd heard that
Well,
it was like
it might be like kind of an
the
episode.
chapter 1 or something.
That might be true.
Yeah.
That might be true. This is not. It is not a demo though. Like what?
Well,
what
not like a.
this is a game with
like,
a beginning and an end.
that this was something that's still being developed.
In fact, it almost seems in terms of like a gameplay perspective, almost an evolution of Undertale's like mechanics and stuff. Like it is still very much an RPG where you're kind of walking around, very similar to Undertale. You know, you're there for the writing and the charming characters and stuff. It's very humorous. It's very meta. And you get into RPG battles and. Yeah.
That's fine.
So-
No, that's fine. Just keep going.
All right. Go ahead.
Where's the audio podcast?
Paint us a word picture.
Yeah, I mean, can he throw
Yeah.
on the footage now?
Well,
I mean,
he's
as
going to
we're
reset.
talking?
He's going to reset XSplit real quick to try and fix
Okay,
the footage.
okay.
So if you're watching us live, we'll be right back.
Sure,
Keep
sure.
talking now.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I don't have a ton to say about the game, but it is it is.
Do you not have a ton to say about it because it's short, or just
No,
because
see,
you
I
don't
haven't
want to
finished
spoil
it.
Oh, you haven't finished.
Well, both. Well,
you said it's short.
The thing is, isn't Undertale
it's
kind
like
of
it's like
bigger
a
game?
few
or
hours.
something?
It's like a few hours. Well, Undertale is probably more like 6 hours, but you play it several times. This I don't actually know if. Well, I mean, how
Would
long
you
is
replay
Undertale?
Huh?
This one I don't really know. See, it's hard to talk about one of these games until you kind of play through them because you don't know. If you've played Undertale, you know that you kind of don't really understand much about this game or where it's going until you kind of see it all and even play it maybe multiple times. It's almost like talking about Nier after just
after the A run.
one playthrough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is a JRPG where you're getting into the battles, and when you're doing the defense option, you're dodging stuff like shoot 'em up elements. So it's very much like that, except now you have multiple party members in your parties at once, and so that leads to like different things. Like you have this character called Susie, and she's kind of like a jerk. She's got like a bad attitude, and and like I guess the twist here is like Undertale, you could do like a pacifist run, right? Where you do these act options, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna hug this enemy, and then I can just end the battle, right? Well, Susie, she's like a tough girl monster lady, and she's like, fuck you. I mean, she more or less says that, like, I'm still gonna attack this thing. So you have
she
to
doesn't
like
listen to your inputs or your commands.
So you have like a warn command. You're literally warning the bad guys that
they're about to get attacked.
That this chick is unhinged. She's coming for you, and only if you warn them will they actually dodge her attacks. So you're not just if you're doing this pacifist run, which I'm guessing most people are probably going to on their at least the first playthrough.
Thing?
That is an Undertale thing. Yeah,
because Undertale is still very much this game that I just don't understand.
You need to play Undertale.
Oh yeah,
I have Undertale. It just does not like.
You have a lot of games.
You gotta play.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you.
It's worth it.
I look at Undertale and I cannot bring myself to be interested.
You
in
just
playing
you're only doing yourself a
graphics
disservice.
whore.
Deltarune is
It's not even
slightly better looking.
Yeah,
it's not even about graphics. It's just like nobody. I think it's just because I don't get it.
It's a story game.
Oh, yeah, you got to play it.
It's all about the story.
It's funny. It's
and
charming.
the
Like,
characters.
it'll constantly surprise you.
yeah.
And that's sort of the joy of Undertale. Like all the way up to the end, it'll constantly surprise you. I don't want to spoil anything, but it does stuff like, remember that game I'm Scared?
Yeah.
Remember, like the game does some sort of like outside the box, outside the game, like meta stuff. I mean, it's
very
cool.
like mechanics as narrative.
Yeah,
sort of
for sure. It's great. It's a great game. Undertale's a great game. You should absolutely play it. This is, if you like Undertale, obviously this is a free thing, and this is a game. Even though Toby Fox wasn't like saying, "Hey, this is my new game or one of my new games or a new project I'm working on," this is absolutely kind of a start to finish thing you can play for a few hours. And if you like Undertale, you will most likely enjoy this. I mean, I don't know how to like classify this project, but obviously you see a lot of similarities to Undertale. Look at the shop here; it's very Undertale.
Is it just a coincidence the character you're playing at is named Chris? With
So
a K?
Right?
So I don't know if this
Right?
is a spoiler or what, but this is at the very beginning of the game. Is there's like a little bit of a character creator where you pick like your face and your body and your name and everything. And I did all that, and like at the end of it, it's like, well, too bad you don't get to choose who you are in this world. And it named me Chris. I don't know where I pulled that name from, or if that was random, or if that was. I don't know where it got that from.
I think that's just his name. I've seen people posting fan art of that character.
Okay.
And it's named Chris.
Okay.
That's weird.
Which is weird, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of very many fictional characters named K-R-I-S.
If it had come back with Crispy,
Ooh.
that'd be different.
That would be especially weird since that name's not associated with Steam in any way or wherever this is playing.
Yeah, but
that'd be downright frightening. Actually,
also like Undertale, maybe even a little more so here. There's like kind of puzzly, like not platformy stuff, but stuff you do outside of battle where you're like avoiding various attacks and stuff outside of battle, and that can also like damage your hit points and whatnot. And if you're doing the pacifist run, you're not getting experience, you're not leveling up, so you gotta I guess be a little more careful. You know, this game is very Undertale. This is not a sequel to Undertale. This may be like an episodic project thing. I don't really know what's going on in Toby Fox's mind.
The first chapter of something bigger.
Yeah, which is what has been suggested, but he's been real cagey even talking about what this project is, honestly.
But it's free, right?
It is free, and it is a game, and if you enjoyed Undertale, you absolutely should play this, because while I haven't finished it, it seems good for a lot of the same reasons. So I will definitely finish this game. I kind of regret not getting to play more, but it is on PC, and you know, PC stuff has been a struggle for me this year, as I keep saying. But I'll probably finish before next week and maybe maybe it'll blow my mind by then. I can't imagine talking about Undertale having only played, you know, an hour of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that experience is completely different. But this is cool. You know, the only thing I don't like is there's like this weird little UI element where I confirm my command for the main character, Chris or whatever, and then it switches over to the next character, but I like don't even realize it because it moves the UI down the screen over that other character. So I think I'm just confirming my action.
Sure.
But in reality, I'm selecting the action for the next character. So I'll get into the situation where I'll go up and like fucking hug someone or whatever, right? Because Undertale. And my next character will attack it because thought I was confirming, but I was actually selecting attack with my next character. So then I get into the situation where I'm like, oh god, don't, you know, then it does that Goth meter thing, right? Like in
Is
Undertale.
that intentional, or is that just
No, it's not intentional. That's just like a weird little UI thing where I wish it wasn't. I wasn't constantly screwing that up. So here's an example of kind of the defense, right? You're dodging.
This game looks just as bizarre and weird as Undertale to me.
Yeah, it is. If you like Undertale, if you like, you know, weird, quirky things like Earthbound and stuff, like this is up your alley.
So Prince of the Universe in chat says, "Do not play it if you haven't played Undertale." The website for the game even says this game is for people who have completed Undertale.
I will say,
which is good to know.
I will say, first rule of Undertale is
don't talk about Undertale.
Well, that is actually kind of what I think what Toby Fox said about this game. It's don't listen to the overbearing fan base that'll tell you exactly how you should and shouldn't play these goddamn games. I hate it. It fucking almost ruined the first Undertale for me. No offense, Prince, but I'm not singling you out specifically, although I did just say your name on the podcast, so I apologize. Just be nice. Let people play how they want to play. Overbearing fans can ruin experiences for people.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Nick,
All right.
play Undertale.
You should just play Undertale. It's on the Switch now.
Somebody's going to have to sit me down and force me to do it, because I'm never going to go home and just spend a weekend playing Undertale. I can tell you right now, it's just never going to happen. It's not even, I have it on PS4. It's not a platform issue. It's literally just...
So Uranium brings up a good point in chat. He says, I feel like some of those games are weird, quirky, and random just for the sake of it. That is definitely, I guess, kind of a style of humor that is very internet, but I will say, like, his games kind of rise above just that. There are some games that are just that. This Undertale is better than just that, and it does have something to say, and I think it's a really strong game, and this game seems like it's starting really good.
It does have a very like firm central thesis.
Yes.
What if we did a mini project in of Undertale? Would that be a way to play this game?
No, just play it, Nick.
I don't think that's the best way to
experience. That would not be the way for
it.
you to play it for the first time.
I really like Undertale. I think everybody here, you know, likes Undertale, but there are people out there who have like Undertale tattoos and stuff. But I don't think anybody hates Undertale.
I don't know how to. I don't even know what it is. Like someone in chat's like they don't know why I'm so against it.
Think of it like an RPG, like Earthbound,
because
or something.
you're thinking about it.
I'm very particular about what I spend my time playing.
You think it's ugly,
and I just
say you think it's ugly.
Nothing about it has spoken to me yet. Like nothing about it seems appealing to me. All I have to go on is what these like really weird, obtuse things people say about it, and I'm like that doesn't. It's not enough to. I don't know what. I still don't know what fucking Undertale
Nick,
is.
you know what?
Maybe
People have made comparisons to Undertale to Dexter.
Fuck off.
So you should definitely.
I've heard that. I've heard it.
It's true, dude. The fan base there's a subreddit about it.
All I can tell you, Nick. I mean, it's ultimately up to you. You do what you're gonna do.
Susie might be a sociopath.
This is your free time. All I can tell you, Nick, is that some of this, like, kind of, you know, like this weird unappealingness that you're feeling, like some of this facade, some of that I think is kind of like intentional. The game is very much like obfuscating what it really is.
But at some point, it needs to sell itself.
No,
right?
I mean, if it's a purely consumer product, yeah. I mean, if
Maybe
there's like some kind of artistic integrity to it, it's going to speak to whoever comes to it.
Maybe I'll try and find some time to like play it for like 30 minutes to an hour and see if it grabs me.
I will say you absolutely should play this game. I mean, or Undertale. It's really good. But, like, we make a lot of recommendations, Nick. You say you're going to play them. That's fine. Like, this game didn't... Or Undertale did not come out this year.
I say that because I love video games, and I genuinely want to play as many
I know.
as I can.
No. And it's admirable. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe... we also suggest to maybe play, like, Oberdin. Like, I'm saying...
That is absolutely going to happen, by the way.
I'm saying maybe don't get to Undertale, but definitely get to Oberdin.
Absolutely. In fact... I think we're going to do a spoiler cast for that soon, so I'm going to definitely...
They're not related at all, but I'm just saying sometimes all these recommendations and games you say you want to play kind of like spill over and then you don't know what to choose. Yeah. I'm telling you now, you should play Undertale someday.
Brad. I'm going to play Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Anyways, thank you, Brad, for talking about Deltarune. Let's talk about the other game that's new.
Can I jump into one real quick that I didn't even put on the doc?
Sure.
That Brad probably played, Tetris Effect.
Oh,
I played that.
I fucking did.
So,
I played the fucking
VR. Did you play it in VR?
Yeah. Oh,
so the three of us have played it in VR now.
All of you guys.
So
I'm gonna buy VR.
It's pretty good.
Do you like
the music's really good.
Yes.
I will say that I was really impressed with what they did with the music in the game. Anytime, Nick, you rotate or move or do whatever, it affects the music.
There's like a music flourish.
Yeah, it's like what is that, audio surf or whatever, or like whatever. It's
like all of your movements, like every time you like move blocks,
rotate,
drop,
whatever, anything.
Like
Nick's played a lot of.
It's a very rhythmic game.
It feels good.
I used to have a Lumines machine, and it was fantastic.
The thing is, the main kind of gameplay of it is okay. It's when you get into the stuff that isn't like the main game. There's
there's
where
a lot more
it
to
gets
that game
intense.
than people realize.
Where it's like people can develop kind of their own like little Tetris things, and there's like random events happen, like random things. So instead of having like sometimes you won't be able to see the path of where your thing's gonna drop, or sometimes the blocks will change, like they'll be missing an actual like blip or something like that, and it becomes more of like a puzzle game. Well, I mean, Tetris is always a puzzle game.
Does the VR add a lot to the experience?
Not in so much. Well,
not an insane amount.
I would say in so much as like I think it enhances the Mizuguchi part of it.
Yeah.
You know, you put on some really nice headphones and put in VR, and it just kind of washes over you. You know, and that's kind of what the experience they're going for here.
It's easier to just kind of like...
Rez is amazing outside of VR.
Demo,
in
right?
VR, it's
we
even
don't
better.
have the full game's not out
Correct.
yet, right? Okay.
It's not out yet.
Correct. But I've been kind of following it this past week, and I didn't realize there was like as many like modes and stuff in this game as there is. And some of that stuff seems really cool. Like I saw this one mode where you see like these light beams that kind of like shine down on the like the Tetris field or whatever, and they're gonna be like line pieces that kind of like drop in. So you're kind of like building like around it as fast as you can for that when that stuff drops. So you get your Tetrises, and then it like turns into like multiple. You know, like lines are gonna drop, so you're kind of building around to fit that. Like there's some cool ideas in here.
They're like the first thing when Bernadette saw me playing it was, "Why are you playing Tetris?"
Yeah,
and then you put the headset on.
No, it's not even about that. Honestly, this game could be in 2D. There's a 2D mode.
You can play in 2D. Sure.
Like honestly, I think you could get a lot of the same experience. It's what Brad was saying. It's all this stuff that they've added. They've modified how Tetris works, and that's kind of the stuff that makes it cool. That's the stuff that makes it appealing. It's not just I want to get that Tetris. I want to get that. Delete all those lines or whatever. It's more about now there's more than just. How many pieces are there? 6 pieces. It's more than just that.
Shut up, TTH.
There's like,
sorry.
You
absolutely should support a new Mizuguchi.
There's something
game
interesting about playing this kind of game in VR because Tetris is a game that like so very much benefits from like getting into like kind of a, like a beta brainwave like zone where you're not really like actively thinking. You're just kind of like running on instinct, and having the headphones and like the headset on and just being like immersed in it makes it a lot easier to find like that like zone where you're just
I got really addicted
like
to
stacking shit.
And I'm not a big Tetris
it's
guy.
It's fucking cool.
But it's the music is good,
like
and
next week I think.
Like all of the stuff that was available in the demo, I thought all the songs were like so good.
The songs were really good.
That main one from The Deep is so fun. I've been listening to that in my car.
Yeah, dude, Well, yeah, I saw that in that song in Beat Saber, and I was like, oh man,
That's the one from the trailer, Nick.
Yeah.
Is the song
Yeah.
from the trailer.
It's good. They're all-
I'm
they're
really
good,
excited
though.
to play it, guys. I was this close.
It's
I had
expensive,
company in
man.
town this past weekend, so I didn't do it. I was this close to going out and buying a VR.
Wow.
the fucking fire level where there's like all the people praying
Yeah,
below the
that is
field,
cool.
and then when you get like a certain point score, they all start going like, whoa,
Yeah.
and it's just like
It's just-
it's crazy.
it's
You
cool,
just get
it's
like
cool.
swept up in it.
I mean, if you think about it, Lumines is not really like, it's a really simple puzzle game.
I have a
Yeah.
really
But
important Lumines related question.
okay.
Is there a Lumines on Switch?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
so.
there is.
Yeah,
I think so.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah. The one that came,
God.
yeah, the one that came out on.
Vita? Please say Vita. I love the one on Vita.
I think it is that one.
I think so.
Or it is a HD version of that one or whatever.
Let's see what Lumines Puzzle Fusion.
Oh, maybe is it the original?
Oh, Lumines Remastered.
Okay,
Gotcha.
okay, it's the original game remastered.
Is the music just as good in Lumines Remastered? In
the original? Oh
Lumines?
yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. That's so. The game is so good. Maybe I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god. It's
I even like Lumines 2 that has the fucking BANANAS.
All right, sorry.
so
Shit
many fucking
is
video games.
bananas.
Sorry, I sent us on this tangent. I just want to
It
talk
has-
about
it
Tetris for a
has,
second.
I'm glad you did because I'm really excited to play
Missy
Tetris
Elliott.
Effect. We're gonna talk about it next week, I'm sure, along with Hitman. All right. Oh wait, I'm not gonna be here next week.
What's
Y'all
the-
are gonna talk about it. Anyway, anyways,
What's the Black Eyed Peas song where it's like louder?
Okay, sure.
Loud.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Turn it up.
Yeah, I think that one. That was Luminous.
all right. Let's get to the other big game that we haven't talked about yet on the show. Nolan and Krispy both spent a fair amount of time, right, in the Fallout 76
Mm-hmm.
beta.
Virginia and West Virginia.
Yep.
Virginia,
Mountain
remember
Mama.
that game?
Tell us about that.
Wait, what's the name of the wasteland this time? Is it the West? Is it the
No,
Appalachian?
yeah, Appaloosa. Whatever the fuck it's
Yeah.
called. So anyway,
Mountain Land.
yes, Fallout 76.
us about this
I
weird
sunk
thing.
in maybe about 4 or 5 hours into the beta. Unfortunately, I only got around to playing it the very last day of the beta.
Yeah.
And that's because of the many issues I've talked about it last week, I think, on the show, where I succumbed to the PC issue of Bethesda wanting to put out their own launcher and everything getting fucked.
You had to
and
reinstall it or
I had to
renew.
reinstall it multiple times. And so, yeah, I just never got around to playing it until the very last day.
Did you capture footage?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I have footage. I have 40 minutes of
No,
footage.
I'm just surprised he didn't.
Me too. So, we'll wait.
Oh no!
It's in the folder.
Oh,
Chris
no.
Davis.
Hold on.
It's also on the dock.
Imagine, if you will,
Hold on.
West Virginia.
Picture this.
All right, keep going.
Picture
The year
this.
is 2076.
I think I did also mention
2080.
like while we were getting set up,
27.
like please like start 3 minutes in.
21.
I think I remember
36.
visibly
Wait, what is the
saying
year?
that visibly.
I don't know.
No, it's 2076.
It's like 2076 is when they went into the vault, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
So-
It's 200 years later.
So 2276, 2970s, 2096,
20.
Does anybody know what year this game takes
20
place?
2018.
I really don't think it matters.
2301.
Can we talk about the game?
So anyway,
Is this Rust in Fallout universe?
No.
no, not quite.
Okay.
So yeah, so let's talk about it. It is definitely Fallout. I will say that off the bat.
It's pretty Fallout.
It is definitely Fallout.
Wait, what? In what sense? Just the
It is
setting
definitely
and stuff?
Like,
Fallout.
it has the same gameplay loop.
Yes, it's the same thing. You're running around, you're collecting shit, you're picking it up. It's very much like Fallout 4 as compared to any other Fallout game, except for the big thing in which there's no other like NPCs in the world.
That's
that
the
are
weirdest
people.
thing I'm having.
That
the
are
hardest time.
people. There are NPCs that are like robots or
That's all I saw.
yeah, that's all I interacted with, and it is from one of those
That's
kind of
being widely reported too. There's no NPCs.
yeah,
It
and
does feel kind of empty in there.
no, it definitely does. And so one of the things I've kind of found is that you're like, oh, you're an initiate in this thing, and you're leaving the vault, and you're going to rebuild the world. So here's your tools to help rebuild the world, and go on your mission. And you're supposed to meet this lady and go do it. And so you go, and oh, the lady's dead, but she left some notes for you and some video recordings. And now it's like, hey,
The lady's the overseer of the vault,
Correct.
by the way.
yeah. And so it's like, hey, go become an initiate. So you go to a computer, and it's like, oh, register to become, a volunteer.
The volunteers. Yeah, the rescue volunteers that were like out in the wasteland. They weren't in the vaults. This is like a group that was like helping people in the wasteland.
And so it's like, hey, you go find this guy, and you go find him, and he's dead, and he has a note on his body, and now go do this mission. Yeah. And then, okay, the next one, go find him. He's dead, but there's a note on him. Go do this. And it's kind of a little bit of that.
Over and over?
So hold on. So I'm not super, super far. What I will say is that I did run into multiple other actual real-life players in the world. None of them just started shooting at me, thankfully. You can do that.
You ran into strangers in a video game on the internet, and they didn't start shooting.
Wait, hold on. You can't go, it's much more complex than that.
You can't go PvP until at least level 5.
So yeah, I'm level 5 in this footage.
In the world of Rust likes, people don't just start shooting at you. It's like psychological warfare that ends up in like gross stuff like them enslaving you. It's like have you heard stories of like Rust and similar games?
Rust. Like plenty of people just started shooting.
I think we talked about a lot of that on our show when Rust was big.
I mean, a lot of the unimaginable.
So anyway, like I said, similar to Fallout 4, you have like the pipe pistols and stuff, and there's a huge fucking emphasis, even more so than Fallout 4, on crafting, finding items in the world, finding junk, breaking that junk down into its base level like aluminum or lead or steel or glass, and then crafting new things with that.
Yeah.
One of the, I guess, unique things with this is the events that occur. So you'll be in an area and it's like, hey, an event is occurring. Go do this. And this footage actually picked up right after I finished an event. There was like some like robot farmers that had gone haywire and they were attacking everyone. So I had to like kill them all.
When you say everyone, players,
any live
anyone
person
in the area.
Gotcha.
And so anybody in that area gets alerted to that event, and if anybody helps with that event, they'll earn like experience and items and stuff when the event is done. And so that's the online multiplayer kind of part of it. If you leave an event area, it's like, warning, you're leaving the event. You won't get credit for this. But the thing is, I saw the same event multiple times.
Yeah.
See, that's usually a bad sign when you're looking at a beta, like a small vertical slice of the game, aren't you?
But I will also say, I only stuck to like a small section of the game anyway, though. Like this map's actually fairly large, and I didn't explore too much of it just because I was kind of just, I have a quest here, I'm gonna go do this quest.
Based on what I played, the game that it's kind of like ringing the most bells with for me is Destiny.
Well, I've never played Destiny,
it's very
so I can't
just kind of like
them.
Open communal spaces. People are running around doing missions. There's events, and there'll be like 5 or 6 events that trigger once every 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and you're just kind of going through and farming these things over and over again. But I'm sure there's more to it than
probably
that, I hope. But like, yeah, that my whole time with the beta, that was kind of just like.
So here's a question. So because we talked about the NPCs and the world is specifically lacking like actual computer programmed NPCs. All the human characters are going to be other players, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But you said you don't unlock PvP until you hit level 5,
which I did within like an hour and a half. But
does that mean you don't even meet people in that?
No, you meet them right away.
Yeah. You just can't like shoot them and they can't shoot you.
Gotcha.
They all have their mics plugged in and they're saying,
dude. I actually ran into a couple of people with mics, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" I was not much, playing some Fallout, and he's like, "Me too," and then he walked away.
Good talk, bro.
So hold on. I met another guy, and this is when I actually got kind of worried because I decided I wanted to establish a base. And so I found like a junkyard, and there's like kind of like a table there, and it's like, hey, do you want to establish a base here? And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, you can't. You got to clear out all the enemies. And so I spent fucking like 20 minutes trying to find the enemies hidden in the corners of this base and kill them. So I finally did, and I established a base. 40 seconds go by, and it's like, your base is under siege. And I'm like, what?
Because they just keep respawning?
No. Like, it started spawning in those little like robot things.
Yeah.
I forget what they're called.
Yeah,
little
floaty guys.
Yeah, little robots.
Mr. Gutsies and Mr.
The butlers.
No, not those. Like tiny ones, like the ones that are like a fucking foot tall. And so now my base is under attack, and I have to survive 4 waves of these guys. It gives you like 3 minutes to get ready. So if you remember from Fallout 4, I don't know if you ever built bases. You can build like turrets and stuff like that.
That was like
surprisingly clunky, right?
It was surprisingly, and not to mention it always felt so strange because it's an open world game. You spend a lot of time traversing a pretty large map, but it's kind of like, which base am I supposed to be focusing on building?
Is that stuff more streamlined in this building?
A little bit compared to Fallout 4. It's a little bit better.
It's not like Fortnite where people are making castles.
No. It's not like that. But But yeah, and so I had to survive 4 waves. And so I'm fighting these waves, and then this guy just walks up. And I'm like, fuck, is this guy going to just start attacking me while I'm trying to fight off these things? And he's helping me. And I think it's just because if he helps me, when I finish, he gets credit. You know, he gets some money, he gets some items or whatever. So, hey, you have incentives for helping people in this game. And so he helped me, you know.
And then he was like, drink this poison.
Yeah, exactly. And then he was like, all right, later, dude. And he, like, took off. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
So far you've had okay experiences.
Can you pickpocket grenades into people's pants?
I do not know. I never really got too close to someone to do that. I would assume you could.
I don't know. Can you pickpocket?
Now I feel
players?
like we're just gonna the next time you play this game, you're just gonna spend like hours trying to like put grenades in the back of other players' pockets.
So VATS is really weird.
I feel like that would be so fucking weird if you could do that though.
To other players, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that feels a little un-Bethesda to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you said that. My question about, because this is a new studio under the Bethesda umbrella,
Correct.
making a Fallout game. Actually,
Correct.
the studio is, I think, based here in Austin, right?
It is.
Does it feel like is that change in studio noticeable? You feel like? I feel like it's also kind of hard to tell because of the fact that this is an online game.
I would say unclear. I would say the problem is this is clearly like the Fallout. It's not the Fallout 4 engine. I'm fairly certain it is a new engine, but it is like all of the assets from Fallout 4. So I mean, it just feels like Fallout.
Yeah.
Well, then it's a very different game, so it's like, how can you really compare how much this feels like?
I will say, and I don't know if I go into the map in this. I do kind of like how the map is. It's like kind of like a cartoony like map. I think of like when you and I went to Bethesda World or whatever at E3 the other year. It's kind of like that. It's very like stylized, almost Cuphead. Kind of looking. It's very. I like that. I do like some of the aspects of this game. I am worried about it though.
VATS, you were going to talk about how VATS.
So yeah, so VATS is kind of weird because it doesn't pause time. It just highlights the thing you're trying to attack, and it gives you like a percentage chance that you will hit it. And depending on
so
where,
it's just like VATS without freezing time.
Kind of, but it's not like
it like directly locks. It like locks you onto it.
It keeps you locked onto them,
and then like it's like instantly updating that percentage depending on your like distance.
The percentage is going up and down depending on how close where your gun is on the physically. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I never use it on a person. Obviously, I did use it on. This is when I hit level 5, so now PvP opened up for me. I only use it on like random like rabid dogs and stuff. The perks are kind of interesting. I will say it's kind of like I want to say a card game. So every time you level up, you get like some new cards you now have access to, and sometimes you'll get like a pack, and I'm sure that'll come into like, they
already sell them.
Yeah, you can buy them and whatever. And so, but one of the cool things is you can like combine them. So I had like a card perk that allowed me anytime I loot a box and there's ammo in it, I get like 20% more ammo. But then I got another one and I merged them, and now that became 40%. And then I got another one and I merged that, and now that card's level 3, and I get like a 60% chance. But since it's level 3, I have to have 3 perk points available in that stat to equip it. Does that make sense? Like you have to like it's kind of like the special meter in Fallout.
Yeah.
You have to have that many points in that level to use that level card in that stat. That's kind of cool.
They're still married to this UI, aren't they?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, here's the
that
map.
does look a little bit like Fallout, or what do you call it, Bethesda World. Or
yeah,
I just like
that style. You can fast travel in this game. You gotta pay caps to do it if you've been there. Cool. You have to pay caps for a lot of stuff in this, which is understandable. I mean,
but you can also like fast travel to party member locations too.
Oh, really? I never partied up when I played it.
I just feel like
I have, and it like didn't change anything. It was so weird.
I just feel
it
like
just added more shit to my UI.
I feel like without NPCs in this world, I feel like it would just be very.
Let me. I'm not saying that these two games are exactly alike. I mean, they're even like kind of just different genre of games, but the feelings I was playing this were very reminiscent to me of when I played Elder Scrolls Online.
I could see
of
that.
like them taking a single player RPG experience and then like what they had to do to kind of like almost like open it up, flatten it out, water it down a little bit to make it more usable as a
communal
as a like
game.
as a multiplayer experience.
The thing is, like, the weird thing is with the Elder Scrolls, they went the straight up MMO route. It's
They
correct.
did.
It's an MMO.
They
this
did.
is like a weird, like, it's
but this
an MMO, but it's not.
But this
It's
is
not
kind
an
of
MMO,
this
though.
is kind of more following the blueprint of like franchises that are trying to be like MMO shooters, like Destiny and you know, things like that.
Not like Daisy or
I mean, a little bit, but not like it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't. Any of the times I was playing, there were other people in the world, but like their presence made no difference.
Correct.
I
To me,
didn't
at
really
least, I
like
agree.
see people that often.
But do you think it's
I
just
didn't
the level
encounter
cap
like
thing?
No, I
yeah.
don't. What do you mean level cap thing?
Or
could be.
not the level cap, the level
Like
limit,
how it, like,
the
scales
level 5
people?
limiter or whatever. Like
Yeah.
maybe
but that's only on
maybe
that only limits whether you can.
But
attack
dude, I
them.
was
Yeah, well,
running
yeah,
into
I mean-
people who were level like 12 and like
Yeah, yeah.
18 and
They were-
like
they were-
I was running. I don't
But-
think I ever ran into someone who was below level 5. I was the lowest
so
level
like was your
person.
server maxed out?
Yeah, people?
Yeah.
I think so.
Which, you know, I imagine it would be. I'm just saying, like, once people have played this game for a few weeks, that experience. I think what happens
I mean, even, like-
is people get kind of bored with what's available, and then they start fucking with other players.
even like what.
I know that sounds negative, but I think that's how these games go. Or they figure out all the systems, right? It's not all about figuring out the systems.
Right.
It's about living in this world and inhabiting it with other players, and what obviously
And
is
your
gonna come
experience
with
is
it.
obviously going to change the longer you play, and this beta didn't give, you know, it was
Yeah.
broken up into like several hour chunks over a
Yeah.
few days, so it didn't have any sort of consistency.
It's just a bunch of people trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, yeah. It was, and that is absolutely true. But I'm just like giving you what I experienced in the beta. You know what it felt like to me. The oh my god. Okay, I lost it.
You were kind of talking about how it's comparable to stuff like Destiny and these other shooters with an online.
Yeah.
Co-op
I mean,
presence.
it's
Well,
like I guess what I was saying was I like teamed up with random people at a certain point, and like that felt incredibly inconsequential, and it almost like incentivized like the way that like parties work and the way that like mission objectives work when you're partied with other people like operates in a way where I don't really feel like I need to go out and grab somebody else. You know what I mean? And in fact, that like maybe having somebody on my team who wants to do other things than me, you know, like I don't know, like I like met up with a guy doing one quest, and we kind of like hung out together, but then he's just kind of like running around, and he had all these like fast points unlocked and shit, and he was going and doing other, like we would be on the same quest, and he would be like 2 steps ahead of me on the quest, but I'd still have to like go away from him and go back to where he was and do those things myself. Where I
that
feel like games
sucks.
like Destiny would count your progress together. It'd be like, you guys are a team doing this objective, so like one of you can go do this while the other one's doing this.
That
you can
sounds-
coordinate a little more, but in this it's really more like a relay race where like everyone has to go tag the button and then like go over here and tag this button, and it just
Does
like
the quest stuff seem like kind of shoehorned in?
it doesn't. I don't know
Not
about shoehorn, but
necessarily.
it definitely feels flat.
yeah.
See,
It definitely feels
seems
like
maybe
run over
this
here, grab
project
this item,
started as
go talk to
something
this guy.
much more like Rust, and then the feedback was like, "Oh no, these are Fallout fans. They want like
an RPG.
a single player RPG experience, so we need to do what we can to make it kind of feel like that." And maybe what
I mean,
happens.
that could be that really could be, because it feels like it doesn't want to let go of like the artificial elements of the RPG. Like it doesn't want to let go of the set pieces, and it doesn't want to let go of the missions, and it doesn't want to let go of the quest lines and the stories, but it still wants to be a space where you can like do things like in more experimental games like Rust, where you're just kind of like existing however you want and interacting however you want. Like it's trying to have its cake and eat it too in these two like kind of almost incompatible realms, and it's not doing a great job of meshing them together.
I mean, ultimately, though, the stakes are supposed to be high, right? Like a game like Rust, where you're going to log into this game and
I
people
never
blew
felt
up your
like
home.
there were stakes.
No. So hold on. So first of all, Brad, they've already mentioned that that's going to be kind of hard to do, to get the ability to launch a nuke. You're not going to be launching nukes every other like
But
minute.
it's not even about nukes. I'm just talking about like they come across your house and they just piece by piece like take it apart.
No,
that
so
while you're not
so it
playing?
seems like
While
this is
you're
the
not
whole thing.
playing.
This is like camp thing. It seems like you can almost like take it down. I'm not 100% sure yet how that works. So like
I feel like if the stakes are reduced, like this type of game doesn't work.
So like here, Brad, for example, I have this camp, and at this camp I can have, a crafting table for weapons and for armor and a cook thing, and then I can dismantle that camp and take it somewhere else
really easily.
And I don't really remember how Rust worked exactly, but there was some consideration about like where you'd log out and like whether or not you had a sleeping bag.
Like
and
people
stuff
would build like fortresses around you that you couldn't get out of.
And
so
like
when you
this,
logged back in,
this was really more like, oh, I'm done playing. I'm just gonna walk away, and then when I come back in, it just pops me back.
Where I was.
Like I never felt like, oh, I need to get to a safe place before I log out, kind of thing.
But that's so important in these types of games.
It's not that type of game though.
It's
Brad.
weird because
it's like it's trying to be both things, and it doesn't excel at either.
Here's the thing: like they didn't want to
didn't
want to alienate the people who want that single player Fallout experience, but at the same time, while trying to appeal to those people, they've made the game completely inconsequential.
Kind of.
Well, that might be strong, but yeah,
and it's also a waste too.
It
because
is definitely like this is not the final word on the game. It is definitely worth waiting and seeing what this looks like a month out from launch, like 3 months out from launch, to see like,
which is exactly what you said about Destiny.
When people have like kind of stripped
CFTs
but
stuff.
Destiny like has changed and evolved, and like oddly enough is kind of like the people who are still playing it are about as happy as they've ever been, even though it maybe isn't selling as well as Activision wants it to, which is kind of like a whole nother weird thing. But
I think you can get Destiny 2 on PC for free right now.
It was on PlayStation Plus as well.
because they've been trying to push Forsaken because they've been not doing as well as they wanted in numbers, but apparently like Forsaken is tops, like some of the best content they've ever done.
But so real quick, speaking of PC, I did want to talk about, Jaeger brought it up in Discord earlier today, about the downsides to what Bethesda's trying to do.
Yeah.
In that they have their own launcher, they're not going through someone else, obviously because they want more money.
Yeah.
Which is fine, every company wants more money. But this one's just like fucked. Like all of the files, nothing's like locked, nothing's hidden. Nothing's secure.
Oh,
like you can use something like Wireshark or something that sniffs packets to grab other players' IPs.
Yeah.
The
way that people can mod like Skyrim or Fallout 4 on PC, they can just do in the online, because and like everything's client side.
Yeah,
so.
Since everything is on my local and not checked with the server, you can make it in your game. You can make other players bright colors so you can see them easily. You can
shrink trees. And shit.
You can completely change. It's not secure.
Does that affect the way everyone in the world?
It affects how you.
Just you.
But like if you're doing like if you're like shooting somebody and like sending hit commands, it's still like picking those up.
Jesus.
But if you want, you have their IP. You can kick them out of the server. You can. It's just like it's completely fucked on PC right now, and it's all because Bethesda's trying to do their own thing and kind of failing at it at the moment. And so it's just like it's kind of a shitty situation. And like they were saying that like Bethesda has like acknowledged that that's all an issue, but they haven't said if they're going to do anything about it or what.
Man, that's a glaring oversight. Holy shit.
It's pretty big. So obviously if you're playing this on consoles, that issue isn't really there. But on PC, it is just a fucking sandbox that it should not be for a multiplayer game.
Well, I'd say let's return to this game maybe after launch.
When does it launch again? I don't remember.
I think next week.
Coming to Redbox apparently.
Man,
coming to Redbox.
Yeah.
Also, D2 is not Diablo 2. D2
D2's
was a
Mighty
game
Ducks?
called D2 before Diablo 2. So you can't call Diablo 2.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
And D2 the Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
Of course, that's the best one.
Yeah.
All right.
Ducks fly together.
So, let's return to Fallout 76, assuming that some of us get our hands on the final version of it and play it. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
The beta's kind of rocky. We'll see what happens. So let's revisit Red Dead Redemption 2, shall we?
Yeah.
How's everybody
Getting
doing?
on up.
How's everybody doing in Red Dead?
Still have not started.
Really?
I still feel like I've played nothing.
I've secured a copy of the game, though.
Oh, well, that's good.
I feel like I'm 45, 50, I don't know how many hours in.
You're in chapter 3, right?
I'm still in chapter 3.
Okay.
I'm loosely counting, and I'm about 40 hours in.
It feels like I've nothing's happened, but everything's happened. It's weird.
Yeah, and okay, so one thing I will say before we get too far, that's my footage from last week.
Oh no.
Chris Davis, I have footage that I captured.
Uh-oh.
You fool.
Anyways, we'll get this right. So I don't want to talk too much about a bunch of anecdotes, because a lot of these conversations around Red Dead can easily spin out into just a shit ton of anecdotes. I will say this: next week on Monday before my stream, I'm going to do an episode of 4Player Plus. We're going to do a Red Dead spoiler cast, but I think we're going to split it up into several parts, so we can have a chance to talk about our early game experience versus our late game experience, that kind of stuff. I think right now, so we're all at a point where we're about 40 hours or so into the game. One thing that's really striking me about this game that I think... so Red Dead 1 is very memorable because it has such a well-defined like story and like pacing, and like it's very typical of your average like Rockstar game, right? This game, like I said, I've been playing for about 40 hours, and the story, like the main story of this game, is kind of getting lost for me. I mean, and not to say it's bad.
The same thing happened for me in the first Red Dead, because that story is so much like, I think, smaller than this one. And
it is smaller. It's smaller in scale, but basically what I'm saying, so like, if I played Red Dead 1 for the same amount of time I've played Red Dead 2,
sure,
I would have beaten the story
probably,
to completion, and also done some other stuff
sure.
in the world. I'm spending so much time exploring this world, finding these unique events, talking to people out in the world, hunting, that like when I do stop to do a story mission, I do it, it's finished, I see a little bit more of the story unfold, and then it's right back out to just doing whatever the fuck I want.
I think that's the problem with any open world game, and that when the game
I'm not even trying to say it's a problem necessarily. It's just something I'm noticing.
To an extent, I think it's a problem. It's one of those. It's a scenario where I think of something like The Witcher. Like when you're playing a 100-hour game with the main story is only like 10 hours or 20 hours, it gets completely lost. And that's why I do like when Witcher was a good example. Spider-Man's another good example, I think, of when you're ever like loading up the game. Like this game has a decent loading boot time when you go from the start menu to into the game. That's a perfect time to give you a reminder of the last story mission you did.
Yeah, and
or
one
the
thing
last
you mentioned
couple
last
of
week,
beats.
you have access to your journal on.
So yeah, the journal is there,
and it's a progress meter in there that gives you a recap of each chapter that you've played so far. But like, considering I've played 40 hours, I have 3 little tiny paragraphs, like 2 sentences long, of what's happened in the story so far, which is kind of crazy to think about.
I think it's a mistake to attribute a game like this to always having to have this like strong through line narrative, because I don't think that's even necessarily what these kind of games excel at. I don't think like a point A to point B, while that sort of like singular like story mission to story mission to story mission to story mission to tell one linear story with a beginning, middle, and end can be done really well in this game. We saw that with Spider-Man.
Yep.
That's not the only way to approach it.
You're right, and they certainly don't approach it that way in this game.
Yeah,
because you can do, at any given time, there could be like 4 or 5 different quote unquote story missions that you can do.
Can I give a quick gripe about this game?
Sure.
In the first Red Dead, if you were running and you whistle for your horse, it would run up next to you.
Yeah.
In this, the horse never gets up next to you.
So
if you are running, the horse will never be parallel to you. It will always be behind you.
So
if I'm trying to run away from a scenario, and I'm like, come on, horse, let's go, I have to stop, go backwards to get on the horse.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I don't know.
Anti-cowboy.
Kind of.
Because the first game, you'd whistle for your horse, and then as you're running,
it comes up, and you
just
hop on and go.
Him.
Yeah,
it doesn't do that, and that's
annoying. Sorry. That was specifically for people listening at home. That was specifically related to footage.
In the footage, that was a prime example of me, doing that. But anyway, so back to
back to story through lines in this game. Because I would like, part of me is also kind of worried that and I know this is probably not the case. There's been a few times where I'm worried I'm missing story content because there was one point where there was a mission that was available for Abigail. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going to rush back to town and do a mission for Abigail and see what's going on there. And on the way back, I got distracted by something. There was an event that happened in the world. And then I ended up stumbling into another story mission with another character. I did that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to Abigail now. And her mission was like the little thing on the icon on the map was gone.
Interesting.
And I was wondering, is that just is it a
I think I know that Abigail, like, like I know a lot of times when you get missions from characters like Abigail, it's literally just her being like, "Hey, go talk to this other guy."
Sometimes,
and then it's like it has nothing to do with.
So
her.
I will say, yellow.
Yeah.
Like that's a. I was gonna say that there are certain missions in this game that even though they are like main story missions, they're not always like.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They're not always relevant. A lot of the time, there was one of the ones that,
but it's still like there's still like dialogue and stuff that I want to make sure.
What I mean is like I wouldn't be surprised if there were multiple trailheads into actual like story plot threads.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
Sometimes there's multiple ways to get to from point A to point B,
and that is just honestly another example of how this game, like the flow of the story or the way this game unfolds, is not shackled necessarily to a very specific through line. Like
correct,
like. You can get to point A, or you can get from point A to point B in like maybe 2 or 3 different ways. Chris Davis is joining us.
Tag in.
Hello, Chris Davis.
Hello.
But yeah, so I'm still enjoying the shit out of this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are still multiple kind of just random, funny events that have happened. Good story beats. Definitely plenty of frustration still. I find myself having to look online for a lot of kind of like tips. One of the ones is I was kind of talking with some of y'all before the podcast. I really needed beaver skin to complete a satchel upgrade.
Hunting for that beaver, man.
And so I found some beavers finally. Yeah. Probably. Maybe, I don't know actually. But anyway, I found some beavers in the world. Unfortunately, they were also by some crazy like fucking rednecks. Who every time they saw me would start like shooting at me.
Lemoyne Raiders?
No.
No, there was one.
Like
I was
fucking mountain people.
I was walking through the swamps and like literally no warning, no change in music or sound or anything. This like weird, creepy, like cannibal looking dude just runs up and grabs me and throws me off my horse and starts trying to wail on me.
Cannibal?
Like he was like covered from head to toe in like white paint.
I've heard there's some like fucking
weird stuff.
hills have eyes shit going on. So
Yes.
like,
Well, no. So
in the swamps, man. What the fuck?
There's a gang called the Mumfreys Brood.
No, that's a different. Yes, this happened totally in a totally different area of the map.
Okay.
I'm pretty
swamp
sure.
folk.
So I was in this one section, the section where I was
I
at,
got attacked by swamp
and
people.
I was like, you know what? Maybe if I wait until morning, there'll be more creatures. So I camp. And as I'm camping, 2 guys like come up to me. And, like,
that happened to
puts
me.
a fucking gun to my head.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Get out of our area." But anyway, I'm trying to fucking kill beavers. And so they're fucking. Every time I find a 3-star pelt, which does not happen enough. They're always like 1s and 2s. But every time I find a 3-star, I'm like, "Oh, sweet! Let me hit it with an arrow." I found arrows are always like lowering the rating. So let me use a small game arrow. Nope, doesn't do enough damage. And like, what the fuck's going on? Like, it turns out you have to use a varmint rifle. There's no other way. And it's frustrating when like you oh, let me trial and error, but it's like, oh, but did I actually miss when I was in my dead eye? You know what?
Well, it's not just that. You also have to aim at the exact weak point.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Did I miss? I thought I locked onto their head. Did I not?
And that can
did
be
I whatever?
tricky too,
It's like
because sometimes the auto aim gets a little too overzealous.
And sometimes the auto aim or the head isn't actually the weak point.
Yeah, if it's running away from you, you're shooting it in the ass, and that just ruins the pelt.
Yeah,
but yeah, and so it's just like
it's hit it right in the butthole.
Yeah, it was one of those frustrating things where I ended up googling it, and I found someone online that was like, "Oh, if you're hunting beavers, you have to use the varmint rifle." And I'm like, "Well, goddamn it, now I know." And so it's just one of those kind of silly things that I literally spent like over an hour, almost maybe 2, trying to get a perfect beaver pelt before I realized, oh, if I use the varmint rifle, rabbits. But it's just kind of one of those little frustrations in this fucking massive game.
Yeah.
I have yet to get a 3-star turtle.
I got a turtle, 3-star turtle.
Really?
First turtle I killed, 3 stars.
An alligator snapping turtle?
Yeah. You have to shoot it right in the head with a arrow.
And
I think you probably do it with a varmint rifle.
So the funny thing is, there's these random encounters, and this is one of them. And you always just think that they start repeating, but this has like dialogue. So I found this escaped prisoner. He's like, "Please help me!" And you shoot his shackles. And I found him again. I'm like, fucking random encounter again. But the conversation's different. He's like, "I keep getting caught and into trouble," and like blah 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 and whatever. And I do like that they kind of take it a little step further instead of just having the same event just like rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I think it's actually
different.
pretty freaking incredible that I've played this game for about 40 hours. I've only explored half of the map pretty much, and that's loosely saying half of the map, and I have not yet seen one genuinely recurring event. Like, I've seen there actually. Well, I take it back. There's been 2 people that I've had to like suck the poison out of their leg. They got bit by a snake or whatever. Yeah. But they're 2 different people, and their dialogue plays out totally differently. So then you end up meeting them in town, and they end up having different. Like it plays out slightly different. That's the closest I've come to seeing content loop.
Yeah.
But like everything else that's happened, and like we were kind of exchanging anecdotes before the show, and like I said, I saw something, and oh my god, I didn't know you could do that,
hell?
Nolan.
What?
Oh,
You
yeah,
can
you
lasso
can
deer?
Okay.
You can slit their throats to preserve their pelts.
So I'm going to save you all a bunch of time. Yes, any creature that's like a herbivore at least. So deer, elk, cows,
But you gotta
ox.
sneak up
you
on
can lasso them. You pull them in and you just stab them in the throat. Perfect pelt every time.
Yes.
Oh,
Fuck.
shit.
Wish y'all. Sorry y'all didn't know that sooner.
There's no way that's
Well,
going to
here's-
work on a moose, though.
You're a
here's
subpar hunter, Nicholas.
You go fuck yourself. I am a fantastic hunter. I just didn't know you could do that.
Good.
That's that's a testament to this game. Like, play this game for so fucking long. And I'm still
I haven't
finding
tried that
so
with
much,
a wolf yet.
So many things,
But I don't
wouldn't
think it
wanna
would
try
work.
on a wolf.
Yeah, I don't think it
Wolves-
would work on a carnivore.
Wolves. I got chased through the woods by a pack of wolves the other day. That shit is still terrifying. Hey,
It
Brad
is.
wants to say something.
Let me ask you this: could I play this game and like not do any hunting at all? Because I kind of don't want to.
Yes, technically there are a few kind of like story-based things where they're teaching you how to do it and whatever.
Yeah.
But they're honestly, you don't have to hunt, you don't have to fish. There's plenty of other ways you can make money and pass the time than hunting. I will say that hunting and getting these pelts is how you upgrade your satchel. And having the base satchel kind of sucks when you can only carry like 5 of everything.
Yeah.
So the ability to upgrade that is nice.
But the grind to like get the best satchel is like
And
looks insane.
I
to me.
honestly, I would say to get if you, I got to a point where I had found I needed those little clues. Make sure you do this. Deer pelts, you need a lot of them. Lassoing them and stabbing them is the easiest way. Make sure you wait until you get the upgraded Deadeye before you start trying to attack the smaller creatures. And if you get to that point, then I would say it'd be okay to like maybe ask, hey, where do I find iguanas? Like, because that's kind of a hard thing to do.
Are you?
Yeah, I found them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I stumbled across that island full of iguanas.
Yeah, no, that's where I found them. But yeah, and then I would say making kind of almost like a beeline to get those better pelts just so you can get the upgrade. What's up, Crispy?
This mission. Fuck this guy, right?
Right?
Yeah, fuck
I haven't
this guy.
done this yet.
Yeah, fuck that
Fuck
guy.
this guy.
Well, then you shouldn't be paying attention right now.
Well, I mean, I can't hear anything, so
Yeah.
it's fine. And I was watching him
Man.
play.
Fuck this guy.
It's crazy.
fuck this
I'm farther along in the main story than Nolan is, I think. But like, I haven't. This is all content I've never seen, so I don't even know where you got.
Yeah,
this.
this is a stranger encounter.
It's a random stranger
Okay.
encounter I found.
Well,
But yeah, so I don't know what else to say.
couple questions.
What's up?
Has anybody done any treasure hunting yet?
Yes.
I found like one treasure.
I'm having the same problem I did in Red Dead Redemption 1, which is getting that off the ground. What?
Find the map. Find the
Do not.
The world is so big.
Yeah, that is true. You need context clues.
So most treasure maps, as far as I found, have like some kind of index or an idea as to where to start.
the starting point. Yeah.
Like I found a treasure map inside a chimney, and it had a drawing of Elysian Pool. So I go over there, and then I follow.
How did you know it was Elysium?
Because it was
they
like a
actually say
map
it?
drawing.
the shape of it.
It was
Yeah.
the shape of
Okay.
it. They showed the shape of it, and
I only
found
have
it on
one
the map.
treasure map right now,
So I went there,
and it shows the mountains with the weird, like, saddle-looking thing. I still haven't seen that mountain.
yeah. There's a lot of visual
probably up in
linkage
the
you have
mountains.
to do sometimes.
God damn you, Crispy. God damn you.
Yeah, there was. I guess when I was going for this particular treasure, it was glitched because I got there. I found the starting point for where I'm supposed to walk and do the paces.
Yeah.
And I went over there and I found the hole, but the hole was already dug up. There was nothing in there.
Interesting.
So either I'm wondering.
That's probably intentional.
No, it's not, because I've seen videos. I looked up a video and it showed some guy picking up the item in there. So it's one of the
I don't know. That's just, here's the thing.
one
Like,
of the glitches.
this is a game that, first of all, I know we're getting towards the end of the year. And there's a lot of stuff I want to play. But this game is kind of
Undertale.
no. This has kind of like dominated my life, and that I think that's great. I'm totally in love with this game, and I want to keep going. And I still don't see the end in sight. I still have more than half of this actual story to go, but I already know like there's certain things that I want to do 100% of. I want to do I want to do all the stranger missions. I want to do all the treasure maps. I want to find all the fucking animals in the game, like all that shit.
At the pace you're going, I'm not expecting that to be anything less than triple-digit hours.
Yeah, no, I have no,
100%,
no doubt.
Like, can I talk about one unique thing I experienced?
No, you cannot.
It's not a stranger mission. It's not.
Do it.
So I found a house.
Okay.
And there were some people in it like arguing.
Yeah.
And I was kind of listening through the window, kind of looking in at him. And it was like a dad, and he wasn't very happy with his son. And he kind of sounded like an alcoholic. And so I wanted to the son like stormed off to his room. So I wanted to go in there and be like, talk to the kid and be like, hey, do you need your help? Do you need help? Can I, whatever. And so I'm trying to sneak in, and the dad.
You let yourself into this person's house and went to the kid's room?
The dad, I say kid. He's like maybe 15.
Okay. That makes it better.
So the dad catches me. He's like, you get out of my house, blah, blah, blah. And I try to ignore him and go to the kid. And then the dad gets mad.
Real creepy.
Yeah, I know. The dad gets mad, and he's like, I told you get out! And he like pulls out a knife and stuff, and the kid starts freaking out. And so I punched the guy, and I tried to lasso him, but then shit got crazy. And it's one of those things where I guess every time you punch someone, they die, which is frustrating. I wish you could just knock them out. And so he's dead on the ground, and the kid's hiding under his bed. And so I'm trying to interact with the kid, be like, hey, I can help you now. I mean, I think it seems like he was abusing
I can help you now. I just murdered your dad.
Well, no, it seems like the wife left because of the dad. I found like a note and stuff.
Yeah, this is that loan shark thing.
I don't know what that means.
It was a loan shark mission.
Oh, mine was not a loan shark mission. I found it randomly in the world.
There's I know what you're thinking of. There is a lone shark mission that sounds similar.
I was not on a mission.
You go to those people a few times, though, don't you?
But anyway, so the guy's dead now. The kid won't come out from under the bed. So I'm like, whatever, I leave. So I happen to be back there later, and I'm like, oh, let me go. Maybe the kid will talk to me now. And so I walk in, and I go, and the kid's in his room. So I walk in, and I'm expecting to kind of be like, L2 square. I'm like, hey, what's going on, kid? And he's like, I'm ready for you this time. And he pulls out a knife and he starts stabbing at me. So I run away. I'm like, I'm not going to kill this kid. He's probably still mad at me, whatever. And so I kind of start doing my own thing. And this is literally like the southeast side of the map. And so, south of Saint Denis and whatever. So I get on my horse and I start riding and I ride off. And I'm like midway through the map. And I'm, skinning an animal, and I see like that red kind of thing on the mini map, and it's the fucking kid. He's been chasing me this whole time. I swear to God, he's chased me like 10 miles. Story. Yes, and so I'm like, oh, okay. So I push him and like get on my horse and I ride off again. And so then like 5 minutes later, he's still coming after me. And I'm like, I don't know if it's just glitched or what, that this kid won't leave me alone.
You're going to have to do it, Nolan.
Until one of you is dead.
Yeah, and so finally I see a level 3 muskrat. And I've been really fucking trying to get a muskrat. And so I shoot it and I get off my horse and I skin it. And then the kid runs up and just stabs me and I instantly die. Like fucking, he just literally, I wish I would have saved the clip. Oh my
God, he fucking Jack Marston you.
Kind of. I wish I would have saved the clip because it's literally me skinning the muskrat, standing up, and then off screen a kid just and then I got a knife into my heart, and then it fades to like the black and white.
That was the end of that
death.
Kid's game.
Yeah.
That's Red Dead Redemption 3 is gonna tell that kid's story.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, it was like a random thing. It wasn't. I was not on a mission of any kind. It just happened.
It's pretty great seeing how a lot of these like scenarios play out, and how everything feels like. I don't think I've ever played a game that feels as organic as this in terms of just.
It's pretty good.
Like, everything feels so fucking natural.
Yeah.
What's up, Crispy?
This is your footage?
Yes.
Nolan? Cool jacket.
Oh, thanks, man. Dude, I honestly I spent
That's
about half an hour to 40 minutes when I played on Monday at the tailor in Saint Denis, trying to pick out a new set, like a new outfit of everything, and going through all the different.
I bought
stuff.
So many clothes,
dude.
I look fucking great now.
I'm so shocked at just like seeing all the following people on social media and seeing like everyone tweeting videos and pictures of their character and like just how different everyone's Arthur Morgan looks.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's pretty like
I've seen footage and I'm like, who's that character? And I'm like, oh shit, that's Arthur. Like I didn't recognize him just because like my facial hair is different than like other people have it, and
like,
so it's just.
I feel like the facial hair detracts from like the facial animations.
Oh, it does.
Like
to an
it
extent.
doesn't. I don't think it plays well visually.
But
I mean,
I still like
so-
how he looks though. So
Yeah,
I mean, I've been keeping myself fairly.
I was
clean cut.
I encountered one of the guys that was a snake bite victim,
Yeah.
and I encountered him later in the game. But he was in front of a gun shop. He was in front of a general store,
Uh huh. Yeah. no,
and he said I could buy anything I want. So I bought like a $300 suit,
nice.
that worked.
and it was free.
Nice. That guy probably hates you.
Better be
Probably.
$300 in debt than
I have a
dead.
question.
So,
Has anybody here? I'm guessing a few of you have gone to the the Red Dead Redemption 1 part of the map.
nope.
Nope. I
No?
haven't.
Other than just
I
back for
haven't
that
been
one
south
story
of-
mission, no.
No, nobody in this couch.
I haven't been south of Strawberry.
It's a wanted dead or alive area. I mean,
I was
going to
ask if anybody
everywhere.
went to fucking Blackwater. Like, I just want to know what
There's
happened.
there's one
haven't
mission
been
in Blackwater that
There's so much in this game that I haven't even bothered going to that area yet. I'm sure I will eventually, but
I know, and I'm
I've
so
spent
excited.
so much time just in the section of the map I'm in. Like,
But and
The
what
game is teasing me right now with a location in the northeast corner of the map for like a stranger mission.
yeah.
But it's only available once you beat chapter 4, but it's still showing up. It's driving
You'll
me
get to
nuts,
it.
but I want to do it so bad.
You'll get to it, Brad.
One of the most appealing things I heard when someone else was describing this game was that they decided to just like leave their camp and go into the mountains and just kind of spend a few days in the mountains, like camping out and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that something you can do in
Yes,
this game?
so
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can, and the thing is, yeah, you don't have to go back to your camp. You can set up your own camp wherever you want and cook and do all this stuff. And the funny thing is when you go back to your camp, they act different. They're like, Arthur, where have you
where
been?
haven't
Like,
seen
what?
you."
Like you,
Dude,
like
I'm not even shitting you. I took a tour of the map. I was gone away from camp for like 5 days, like day-night cycles, hunting a squirrel. I went
The most
around.
dangerous game.
I went around through Strawberry, up through the mountains, all the way around to the northeast quadrant, back down towards Saint Denis, and then back over to the camp. And I did, you know where I got the squirrel?
right by camp.
About 20 feet outside of camp on the way back in.
Was it worth it, Nick?
Yeah, I got to see a big portion of the map. Yeah, the fact that you can go up into the mountains and to answer your question, Brad, you can totally do that.
Is
It's very immersive.
is anybody else disappointed that there isn't like a button for just doing like gun tricks?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
That would
twirling your
that would be
Well, it's kind of like
revolvers
when you're playing
around.
Five Finger Fillet and you can flourish
wanna
it.
do-
That'd be
yeah.
cool if you could.
Yeah, where you just like fucking like
Yeah.
Has
flourish.
anybody
Right.
tried the Five Finger Fillet yet in this game?
yeah.
I did it for
It's
the first.
I like, dude. The earlier ones are like fucking super easy, so you
Yeah.
get into like fucking
Yeah,
like crazy.
But then they
fucking
get
guns.
really complex.
Yeah.
And you're just
Yeah.
stabbing your finger
I got
over
to the
and
second
over.
level and I was like, nope.
If you double tap L1, you do tricks with your pistol when you holster them. Shut the
God
fuck
damn it. Are you
up.
kidding me?
That's awesome.
Guys, we need to
son
go to
of a
break so we can
bitch.
test this right now.
Oh, so you can do like the fucking revolver ocelot, like.
Definitely trying
oh
that.
my
Man, I
God.
wish you could like also wear your second holster like Revolver Ocelot does in Metal Gear Solid 3,
that'd be cool.
where it's like behind him.
What do you say we cut to break and test that shit out?
I wouldn't say no.
Okay,
I have to pee.
we will. We're going to take a break in a second. Couple reminders. Obviously, we have a lot to say about Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm sure it'll come up on a future show. Like I said, we're gonna do a spoiler cast of Red Dead Redemption 2 over the course of a couple episodes. 4Player Plus. I think we're gonna try to do the first one next Monday. Tune in for that. That should be fun. We'll get into more spoiler specific territory, which a lot of personal anecdotes, which should be cool. Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, I think we have one more game from Brad to talk about, right? And then we're gonna do some news, answer some questions for our supporters on Patreon, all that good shit. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Is that what penises look like?
Can we just come back to the show with that?
Sure.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. We had some enlightening conversations during the break.
Why did you make this?
So many conversations that I wish would have been included during an actual podcast, but alas, they're not going to be. So I would just say, if you want to catch some of these discussions, you should watch us live when we record this podcast every Thursday night. Brad,
Yeah.
you have a game, right? You have one more game?
I have a game / a couple of games actually.
Is it the game I'm thinking of, Brad?
Yes.
I can chime in on it.
I like how you said yes, I said no.
So this is what I've been playing on my Switch for the past few weeks.
I've been playing it as well.
Yeah.
For the past week.
Yeah. So I started with a game called Human Resource Machine. And the reason I want to play that is because its sequel called 7 Billion Humans came out this year. Now this is from the Tomorrow Corporation. They're the people what made World of Goo and Little Inferno. Mm-hmm. World of Goo is personally one of my favorite games of all time.
I wish I had that on my Switch.
So, yeah, fuck all, yeah. And because of that, and because I always thought this game looked a little cool, but I was a little intimidated by it because it's kind of like a programming puzzle game. I mean, you were solving puzzles via like kind of. It is lines of code.
It is. Don't say that. I don't want to say lines of code. That's how Brad described this game to me, and I was kind of about it. I mean, that's what I do for a living. I program, so I was like, oh, I'm curious. It's not lines of code. It is so much. It is more. It's a bunch of operators. It's a bunch of operations in different rows. So it's a bunch of if this then that. Yeah. Move this here. If this then that. Move this here. Make a for loop essentially out of a loop. You want to loop through this until this happens.
That can be considered a line of code.
Yes and no.
Which trailer is this? Okay, never mind.
I don't know, but I wish Brad would have told me he was going to talk about this because I would have recorded some footage of it. Because I'm not as far as Brad is in the game. I'm kind of. Is
this what y'all were playing last week before the show?
So an example is some of like the things every level of the original game. This is actually footage from the sequel.
Yeah, it's sort of like a Tower of Goo versus World of Goo thing. Like Human Resource Machine is a pretty simple idea, and it involves like numbers and honestly the kinds of things you might see on like a programming like courses exam. And you're figuring that out. Well, so, like early on in programming, but like the sequel,
all of the levels are take stuff from the inbox, put it in the outbox. Yeah. That's it. That's all it is. But it's what do you need to put in the outbox. It's not always take an A from the inbox and put it in the outbox. Sometimes it's, one of the earlier levels was, hey, put everything in the inbox into the outbox unless you've already seen that thing before. So you have to have a bunch of logic of, have I seen this thing before?
It's got to loop through it, check to see if it's
seen exactly.
Before, and then
but
decide.
It's not just that, because you have to maintain everything you've seen, so you have to have a copy of it.
Yeah.
But then you also have to have counters so you can know where you're looking to check, and so you have to do some addition and subtraction or whatever. Yeah. There are simple ones that is essentially like, take everything in the inbox and put it in the outbox in reverse, or stuff like that. And so it's all like. When the game starts, it's very simple inputs and outputs. It's like 5, 6, 7, operations to get it done.
Yeah.
Later on, you're getting up to like 87 things that it's trial and error. It's kind of, hey, what happens if I do this? And they let you step through it, so you can kind of step through the next action. Okay, what? Okay. Oh, whoa! I didn't mean to do that. Let me flip this around, and now
it's kind of like it kind of mimicking what was so satisfying about like Quadrilateral Cowboy, where they kind of teach you basic lines of code, or however you want to describe it, and then as the game progresses, suddenly you're starting to layer kind of how you would naturally if you were actually learning how to program or something. You start layering
it's
things
very
on and
simple
more
at
and more
first,
complex.
and then you make things a little more complex and start moving things around, and you end up having to make notes to yourself because it gets extremely complex. And one of the coolest things about it, though, is every time you beat a level, it tells you, hey, you beat it with this many operators and this many operations.
Yeah.
You can actually do it in fewer. And then that kind of, it's like, oh, what could I have done to make this more efficient kind of type deal. You can like...
Which is crazy because when you're learning to code... So there's one basically reduce the amount of lines, right?
Sure.
And then there's one that's like make this more efficient.
Yeah.
You would only ever do the one that makes it more efficient, I feel like, not the one just to reduce... the lines of code.
I mean,
that seems a little weird.
It's one of those situations where I can brute force this, have like 40 different operations when I could technically get it done in less, but that's because maybe I can do it faster if I don't have to check as much.
Sometimes it's easier to wrap your head around doing something where you can break it out into more lines of code, but it's easier code to follow in your head than it is
or not
to
just that,
try
but it's more efficient. But I'm saying that's that's what you would strive for if you were coding.
Sure.
Yeah, you would go from what's more.
So
efficient.
I feel like teaching you the other way is almost like teaching you or something.
But the thing is, a lot of people who are learning code learn the long way around before they learn the more efficient way of doing it.
Yeah, but you should
times,
understand what I'm
because
saying.
a lot of times
I'm saying you would never write a piece of code to have it be like the fewest amount of lines possible.
That's not entirely untrue, Brad.
true.
That's not entirely untrue.
I mean, I don't think that's like a good. I mean that.
It depends on what you're trying to do.
Well, sure.
Trust me.
But
there are
The
definitely
important thing is that
scenarios-
what you're writing is clear and makes sense, and a lot of times it makes more sense and is more clear when you have fewer lines of code.
So I've been playing the sequel. Now it does
Which is 7 billion humans.
7 billion
So,
humans.
Brad, did you
feels
finish
like,
the first one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the sequel seems like much more expansive.
Mm-hmm.
There's like way more levels, and like from the get go, everything is a lot more. You have a lot more functions. Like they immediately throw you like if statements
Oh, wow.
that have built into like the function of like it's way more complicated where you're moving like a bunch of different humans on the field at the same time, and it's like everybody pick up your number and like get it to the right spot, but you have like way more functions to mess with. And it almost seems like Human Resource Machine was sort of just like a testing ground for like some of the ideas they wanted to mess around with in the sequel, and like the sequel seems way crazier. And like they're throwing you into the deep end,
This
like
seems cool.
way quicker. So that's what I'm saying. It feels more of like a Tower of Goo versus World of
I
Goo
agree
sort
with
of
that.
thing. Which one was just sort of a concept, and then World of Goo feels like the real game.
I will say that
But they do feel very different ultimately.
that's good. I've been playing this game in bed every night, but that's like the worst place to do it.
Because you
Because,
wanna,
like, I'm
I'm not going to bed till I figure this out.
Yeah, but then
It's
I'm
bad.
like, I'm getting tired, and like this it's complex, and I inevitably I will end up giving up and being like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to sleep. And like I really need to either like play it like when I first wake up in the morning, just like a level or something when I'm like fresh, because when I'm tired and stuff, I'm like, I don't feel like solving this right now.
Well, you know what happens to me? What happened to me with Human Resource Machine especially is I'll be on my lunch break, because that's where I play my Switch on my lunch break.
that makes more sense to play it
And
on
I
lunch
get to the end of my lunch break and I haven't figured something out, and I'm like, man, fuck this. So I go back to work and I bust out some paper and like a fucking pencil, and I'll map all that shit out. And as soon as I get to like, my next break or whatever, I get off work, I plug all that shit in and it works.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling.
Question.
That reminds me of like programming back in the day.
Question for someone like if there's anybody out there who's like wanting to actually learn coding or programming of any kind, I feel like, and I'm not saying this is going to teach you how to do it, but I'm saying,
Well,
can
like, very on a
it teach
basic
you
level.
does it seem like the kind of thing that can teach you a mindset of like how to think about certain problems?
Yes,
Potentially, yes.
Like
Because-
with logic and stuff.
Yeah, because
because
if you're already talking about
efficiency,
if you're thinking about functions and if statements and loops,
this
and
is
stuff,
the shit they start you with. Like I did. I mean, I started it also in at UT with CS
in Cobalt.
C++.
with Scheme, shell-based languages. But like the basics are the basics, and this is the kind of stuff they start you out with, which is why some of these puzzles kind of feel like shit you'd see on a fucking programming exam.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's cool
And,
though.
and it's fun. It reminds me of back when I was taking those classes, and you just get you kind of obsess over like a thing until you figure it out and until it works, and you run it and like shit goes wrong, and it's like, I know there's just one little thing in here I screwed up, and when you figure it out and all of a sudden everything just clicks and works, it's super satisfying. So even if you don't really care about programming or anything, even though that's sort of the mechanics of it,
How much
I mean,
is this on Switch?
look at it
Like,
at $10.
The
first one is $10
if it's not on sale. Yeah,
the first one is $10, and the sequel is I think 15. But
well worth it. Great Switch
yeah,
games.
I want to play this.
very
I will
satisfying
say-
puzzle game.
I will say the weird thing is the game controls kind of weird. So the weird playing it in bed's kind of weird because there are two different control mechanics. Either you physically are tapping and dragging on the screen. If you use the Joy-Con,
Yeah.
you can't. You have to as like a pointer.
That's for TV mode.
So yeah, it's essentially for when you're in like TV mode, but trying to play that handheld is weird. The first time I played it, I tried to, because I have a mount above my bed where I will mount my Switch when I'm playing, and I trying to like fucking point it like a pointer and click and stuff. It's very weird to do.
That's just like a something they have to do, I think, to get it on the Switch.
Yeah.
But I think the first one is actually on mobile devices.
I think I'm gonna buy
really?
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But 7 billion humans is not. At least
Yeah.
not yet. So, but yeah. I had a lot of fun with Human Resource Machine, and I'm already surprised by some of the crazy things I'm doing.
Can you
in the
is
sequel.
it safe to skip the first one and just go straight to 7 billion?
Yeah. I mean, they ultimately they end up feeling really different, even though it's similar ideas. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty different games.
Okay.
I would maybe start with Human Resource Machine because it's a little more manageable in the sense that because you're working with like
One person.
numbers and an inbox and an outbox. When something screws up, it's kind of easy to figure out why.
It's obvious where it's screwed
It's
up.
obvious where it's screwed up.
So that's what I was
but
saying.
in the next one, because a lot of stuff is kind of abstracted, even though like the concepts are the same, when shit goes wrong, especially because you're dealing with all these like humans, it's harder to figure out like why. Especially because the functions themselves are more complex. It's harder to figure out where things
Nick,
went wrong.
I'll say the first game is like there's like 5 things you can be doing: your inbox, your outbox, the stuff in between, the code you apply to it, and then the controls. So the cool thing is you can press like play and he'll just do everything, or you can step through each individual action.
And
so the best part is what I end up doing is I think this will solve it, or I think this will kind of get the process going, and I'll say play, and then inevitably it'll fail. And the thing you do is you don't press stop, you press back. And so it'll back him up one step, and you'll be like, "Why did this fail?" And so it walks
that'll
you.
jump you around in the
It
code,
walks you
too.
through where he is in the code, why he's doing what you told him to do, and it's like, "Oh, I forgot the logic of if I'm in this situation, I actually need to do this."
Gotcha.
And so it's nice to be able to step through it to kind of.
And an example of why it's more complex in 7 billion humans is they have like a pointer for every single one of like the
I
humans.
saw that on like
the
thing,
code,
like,
and it's
pointers like everywhere.
It's
like,
almost like incomprehensible.
Yeah.
really.
Both of these games didn't come out in 2018, right?
No, just
No.
this one.
Yeah, 7 billion humans did.
But
Human Resource Machine was like
I think
a
they
couple
both came
years
out
ago.
on Switch this year. But I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't know.
Both good games.
Yeah, both cool games. A lot.
I've only played. I don't have to play Human Resource Machine before I play 7 billion humans, but I kind of wanted to just because I wanted another game for my Switch. I wanted another game on my Switch, so I'm just doing that.
I'm enjoying it a lot.
Cool. All right, well, that's 7 billion humans. I'm going to check that out. for
Also,
sure.
World of Goo is transcendent, and you should play it.
Has anyone here not played World of Goo?
I'm so sorry.
What the fuck?
I'm so sorry.
I honestly thought everyone had played it.
No.
Even really know
That's
anything
why he
about
says
it.
fuck you every time he brings
But
it
he
up.
always says it to me, and I fucking play World
No,
of
he
Goo.
says it looking at you, but he's talking to everybody.
World
Yes,
of Goo
so.
goes places. You got to finish that game. I'm telling you. I when I think of like best indie games of all time, I think of FTL and World of Goo.
World of Goo is an amazing game. I agree with you, Brad.
I don't doubt that that's the case.
What's up, Crispy?
No,
Cool.
All right, news. Let's hit the news hard and fast. Chris Davis.
Wait, Nick, is this an April Fool's joke?
What?
No.
Nah.
And of course Nick didn't get it.
I didn't. What did I miss?
Is this some kind of like out of season April Fool's Day joke?
I'm talking about this news topic, Nick. Read it. I can read it if you need me to.
Please do.
Blizzard burns Diablo fans at BlizzCon with underwhelming mobile game announcement.
That's pretty. Yeah.
Yes. So Blizzard announced Diablo. What is the
Diablo
Immortal?
Immortal. Okay.
Essentially, a mobile game.
I will say this.
This whole thing's a mess already.
This is worth
Yeah, it's
mentioning.
horrible.
I'm not going to be here next week, and Ed's going to be here in my place. And
Bad.
Ed's a big Blizzard fan. He plays a lot of Blizzard games. He might have some additional stuff to say about this project.
I guarantee you, he will say what everyone else is saying on the internet, that this is a piece of shit cash grab that Blizzard.
Well, here's the thing, and it's not necessarily the fact that this game exists that's the problem. It's how they chose and where they chose to make this
that
announcement.
too.
And how the problem that Blizzard chose an event where they knew, or they should have known, they should have read their audience better and known that like a large portion of the people who made plans to travel, in some cases cross country, maybe even from around the world to attend this event in the hopes of a trailer for or announcement of Diablo 4.
Well, they were pretty clear that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
before the
they
event
came out ahead of time. Although what I'm hearing is that maybe originally there was going to be
like a
Diablo
reveal
4
or
announcement, but it got pulled.
Yeah,
That's.
But also, I think no matter what event you go to, like when we go to E3 and we go to a press conference, we tend to think that like
we
they
anticipate
would
what we think
never
is going to be
close
there.
a press conference
Yeah.
by announcing a fucking mobile game.
Yeah.
But
especially
that's what they had, and they have a BlizzCon every year, and they don't always have something big, but they
They
can't
do it.
not.
No, but here's the thing: like they have confirmed Diablo 4 is in development. They just haven't shown anything. Like even closing this out with literally a logo with some like great like
Which is what Bethesda did after 76, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
like
And,
if they had closed the show with a logo and some music for Diablo 4, this would probably be a non-issue.
well, I don't even think it is a fucking issue.
and also if people weren't fucking horrible,
Yeah,
this
people
would
are-
be a non-issue.
There's also the other side of the story is literally just like the way people chose to react to it, especially in just how they turned around and threw it in the face of the developers, the people who were on stage, who were there, who had spent shit tons of time and effort and love
Whatever.
working on this
I mean,
thing.
the thing is, you just fucking
disgusting.
roll your eyes and move on, just like that Elder Scrolls mobile game.
Yeah, but instead you have
Yeah.
people standing up in the audience and asking if this is it's an April.
There
I
you
get
go,
it now!
Hey, welcome to
There
the
you go,
conversation,
Nick.
I'm
Nick.
so glad I made it to the conversation
Yeah,
finally.
Nick finally
Thank
showed
you.
up.
people are terrible,
Oh
but
my
at the same
God.
time, no, I mean, no. I mean, I'm not on their side, like, in the least. I don't think they should have acted that way.
Nobody's in the
but,
right
like,
here.
the reason they should have not acted that way is because they couldn't possibly have imagined that this existing had any sort of effect on real Diablo. It's not like, they announced Lords of Shadows, and I'm like, well, I guess Symphony of the Night 2 is not coming out, and Igarashi's never going to make a Castlevania game again. Like, we know
Especially-
regular Diablo's going to come out eventually.
Especially one of the points that they're decrying about it is that it's an outsourced game.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be concerned that this is taking away development
so just who
resources
cares?
from Diablo
But it's also
4,
like, why do you close a press
when you're
conference?
also bitching that they're not doing it.
But why do you close a conference by announcing a game that is literally outsourced? That's bizarre.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's
like,
fucking weird that they didn't have
It would have
anything
made more
else.
sense to close with the announcement of Warcraft 3 Reforged, I think, than this.
I mean, like,
Yeah, but that's lame.
yeah, but they
too.
wanted to focus on Diablo this time around.
I know,
But
it's-
like, yeah, it's fucking weird.
but
like,
regardless of how you feel about it, I think it is.
it's just
I think it is kind of unacceptable for the way, like, there was the guy, like we just mentioned, the guy who stood up and asked during the Q&A, like, is this an April Fool's joke during a live conference to a guy who literally just up there doing his job. It's just kind of disgusting, and it's just kind of indicative of the way the internet at large carries themselves and handles
it was
themselves.
just like a perfect storm of
Yeah.
disappointment.
Of course, what the guy said was like, "What? You don't have phones?"
That was not the best.
He did not handle that the
Nothing
best.
on either side helped anything.
Yeah.
Like,
It was kind of a clusterfuck from both sides. So there's not a whole lot we can say there. Diablo 4 is in development, and we'll have more to say about that when that's announced. But this was just kind of a clusterfuck and an unfortunate way to end BlizzCon. There was other announcements at BlizzCon. I made an overlay for it, and it's worth mentioning, and I just kind of mentioned it as well. But they announced Warcraft 3 Reforged, which is essentially a remake of Warcraft 3, which was great. That was a great fucking game. That game's also, how old? Like 20 years old at this point or something?
It's not young.
It's not a young game, so
Yeah, but that was the last thing they did with Warcraft before WoW, and they haven't gone back. I mean, honestly, they need a new.
they should have just
RTS.
made a Warcraft 4.
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
really, they
Like-
should, because I think all the Warcraft games, especially 2 and 3, I mean, they're loved games, and then WoW comes out and it blows up like bigger than anything Blizzard's ever done. So like, if you go back to Warcraft, you have all of these new fans who are going to buy that game.
Yeah.
It's more than just Warcraft fans. You have the WoW fans now.
I do want to see more of it, though, because I do have fond memories of playing Warcraft 3, even though I was absolutely dog shit at it. But I haven't played a game like
it's
that.
gonna be compatible with all the mods and the previous versions of the game and stuff. So you're gonna be able to play remastered original Dota.
nice.
Okay.
All right. Next topic we have. Oh yeah, okay. So yesterday, or what is today? Is it the 8th? Yeah, yesterday was in 7 day.
We
Obviously,
were talking about this.
I mean,
It's such a sad
That video was like a fucking infomercial for merch.
yeah, it was like it was. So Bioware released a community video on in 7 day just to talk about how they appreciate Mass Effect fans, whatever.
Yep.
But like you said, it was pretty much just a
It was weird.
It was a weird, show and tell of just like Mass Effect merchandise. But it ended up with Casey Hudson on screen at the end talking about how they're showing up every day with the excited to work on the next Mass Effect game, which was it was weird how it was presented in such a random place, and also just kind of like so casually like working. Everyone has kind of assumed that since since the Mass Effect
said as much they were going to take a break.
Yeah. And the question now is like, was this something that wasn't meant to be taken seriously, or was this literally BioWare trying to tell fans that yes, they've already started working on a new Mass Effect
but like
game?
that could mean anything.
Yeah, this could be
Like
It could be anything. Like,
Mass
could be
Effect
like
trilogy
another-
remastered for the Switch.
This could be
because
like-
Switch is hype right now.
Sure. This could also be another like 5 or 6 year development cycle. You know.
I mean, they did. Casey Hudson did come back to BioWare. Casey Hudson, he left before Andromeda.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Casey Hudson is back, and you would have to imagine, they wouldn't want to leave Mass Effect in the state that it's currently in.
Well, of course not.
Well, they better bring the doctors back because they need some healing.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
I
they
agree,
do.
Brad.
I don't know. It was kind of a strange place to announce something like this or say something like this, but you knew that they had to have known that when they said that, people were going to kind of dissect it and say. So there's not a whole lot to say about it now. I just thought it was interesting because, first of all, they specifically got Casey Hudson to sit there and make that statement.
Yeah.
Casey Hudson was involved with Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect trilogy. They knew his voice would resonate most, I think, with fans out there of the series, people who might feel like they were burned by Andromeda, that kind of thing. So, personally, I hope something comes of this sooner rather than later. You're a little quiet. I am?
Yeah, just letting you know.
Why?
Your voice is not. Towards the end of the podcast, I think you get a little bit tired, a little sleepy.
Wait, Nick.
Wait,
And
really?
maybe your voice does not project as much as
Is
it
my
does
mic dead?
No, your mic's not dead.
I feel like I'm talking loud.
No, it's not. It's not that you like.
We need headphones.
Are you
Yes.
getting sleepy?
I think it's just you
I
need
am
to.
getting sleepy,
you need
but-
you need to make sure that towards the end of the night you don't like. It's not about the volume. It's about projecting your voice. It's
All
about
right.
pushing a little more air
Thanks, voice coach.
out your mouth hole to get those sound waves and the vibrations
Thank
into
you.
the microphone.
Thank you, Nolan.
Got
That was revelatory.
Looking out for you, bro.
Nick, give me a me. All right, you're perfect.
He's a little short.
One more news topic today. All right, this happened last night or yesterday, I suppose.
What
This is kind of a big deal.
I haven't heard this.
So, how do you say his first name?
Hajime
Tabata.
Tabata.
Tabata. The director of Final Fantasy 15.
Well, not just that. He's been more than that to Square Enix.
Yes.
He's been kind of like their savior. He's been like their fixer. After Nomura kind of did what he does, with like, all these Final Fantasy 13 and Versus 13, and I'm going to take 80,000 years to develop my games, and I'm just going to go make Kingdom Hearts
He's
now.
kind of the guy that saved Final Fantasy 15.
Yes, he saved Final Fantasy 15. He turned that into a working, shippable game. He had come from, the handheld space. He had directed like Crisis Core and Type 0, and then they bring him in, and it's like he fixes Final Fantasy 15. It ships, it reviews well, people like it, before they turn on it later.
I mean, it might have
when
been
that
our
game
favor,
shipped,
but
people were pretty happy about it. When it shipped,
I mean,
didn't like it,
you
Nolan.
didn't like
For
it.
like the first hour.
Oh, go back and listen to yourself talking about the
You
game.
should.
It was not as bad as you feel like it is looking back on it.
The first like couple hours of the game were good, but then it just fucking falls off. In
But-
my opinion, which
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
entitled to, Christopher.
in your opinion, but
I'm not saying you're not entitled to that opinion, but that's not the discussion.
But what I'm saying is, critics really like the game.
Sure.
and there's actually quite a big fan
No,
following
there definitely
for
is.
Final Fantasy 15. Even though,
So much so that they went on beyond that and started planning DLC for this game.
and not
Lots
just
of
not just
DLC.
that, but like recently, or not recently, but Tabata, he was kind of like heading up the Luminous Productions, which is a new studio that was pretty much going to make the future of big RPGs at Square Enix. I don't know if it was going to be the next Final Fantasy or whatever.
What, Brad?
What are you doing?
I'm talking with
He's
chat.
resigned.
You fucking.
Oh, you're talking with chat.
Yes,
Okay.
you fucking talk about video games, Brad.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you were talking to me. The thing
I'm gonna
is,
do eyes.
he's resigned. So
he's leaving Square Enix
so
to pursue other.
there was still a
endeavors.
lot of like Final Fantasy 15 content planned, DLC planned. The one that was, I guess, nearly finished is gonna still be coming out. The
Arden, I think.
the episode Arden or whatever. That one's still coming out, but they had more stuff planned.
They had 3 other story-based, character-focused DLCs planned,
and a
all-
multiplayer thing as
and
well.
the multiplayer thing I think is still going to happen. The three character-focused single-player DLCs.
You mean the
are
story
canceled.
from the game that wasn't in the game?
Yes, Nolan. I know you feel passionately about this, but come on,
Dude, I
You're
wanted to
derailing
love this game. I wanted to.
The point is, Tabata was sort of like Square Enix's golden boy.
Yeah.
At the time for kind of doing what Nomura hasn't been able to do in a while. It seems like, and him resigning is not just really kind of, curious, but it's also it makes me think that whatever project he was working on beyond that, because I know he was involved in the DLC, but I'm sure with that Luminous Productions, because he said as much that they're working on a new game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if that was canceled or whatever, and maybe
Although they haven't said anything about that studio closing down, and he's talking about how he's leaving, and he knows there's people that are going to step up and take his place, and they're talented, and all yada yada yada.
No,
So-
they've specifically said the announcement that they canceled those 3 DLCs
Yes.
just so they could shift those assets towards that new AAA title.
Okay,
Okay.
but why is so? The question is, why is Tabata resign? Was it kind of like Japanese business practice you see, where they're like they ask him to resign and that's their way of firing him? Maybe he's.
we don't know right now.
We don't know, but it's kind of. I think quality coming out of Square Enix, at least kind of the Square side, or whatever. Quality coming out of Square Enix lately has been somewhat suspect. They've been taking years and years and years to put out these games between their Final Fantasy games, but also Kingdom Hearts has been in development forever. This fucking Final Fantasy VII remake, who fucking knows?
Who knows what's going on there?
Tabata was the one solid person they had that could actually get it done, and now he's gone.
To be honest,
I think I don't know.
I'm concerned about this, but at the same time, I'm also kind of wondering if this is going to have any long-term effects on the direction that Final Fantasy goes, because I have not personally been pleased with just on a general level, the style of Final Fantasy games since post 12. Which has basically been.
Wait, you liked all the 13 games?
Yeah, but I would take something more. I would take something more similar to Final Fantasy 9 or 10 over another. I would rather Final Fantasy 16 be closer to 9 and 10 than
There's been
13 and 15.
there's been a lot of
for
more
sure.
recent games that are modern and humanoid characters, and there's less. It's more final and less fantasy.
What happened to the high the fucking fantasy shit from everything?
why are all my party members humanoid people?
Yeah.
And all the, you know what I'm saying?
And also, why does everything have to be super
just
realistic?
been
Why does
a
everyone
long-
have such complicated pants?
It's just because it's been a long time.
Why are there so many
since
zippers?
between Final Fantasy releases? It's kind of like a cycle. They eventually get back there. Final Fantasy 9 just came out at a time where that cycle kind of looped around, and they were like, "Oh, let's revisit kind of the pure fantasy stuff again."
This seems like a perfect environment for a pure fantasy.
Also, the MMOs kind of deal in that sort of
you know what,
fantasy
Brad?
stuff
I don't
as
play
well.
those.
They do.
Well, sure, but they are kind of
That's
Final
kind of-
Fantasy 14 is currently a pretty well.
No, I
know.
And
It's
it's really it's
MMOs,
also
Black
just more of
Mansions.
I would rather them focus all of their efforts working on Final Fantasy 16 than just cranking out more DLC for 15. I feel
Sure,
like 15
but what I'm
is-
saying
it's
is
fine, it's done, it's
Tabata
out,
might
let's
have been
move
the
on.
guy. Tabata might have been working on 16. I'm certain this Luminous. The Luminous Productions was probably the studio behind whatever was next for Final Fantasy. I mean, they've been releasing tech demos and stuff. The engine was a big deal. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to kind of wait and see how this shakes out.
Who's
Who
the
knows?
guy? Who's the guy? Bring back Matsuno.
Well, that's the dream, but it's not the guy.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, he's just like not. He's in retirement, right?
No, they're all they've all attached themselves to like mobile game studios that make a ton of money for very little work.
Is
all
he
of
even
them.
attached
Look at all.
to that?
Like even Iga, even though he's doing
Bloodstained.
Bloodstain, he is like he like produces like mobile games for like random mobile companies. He probably makes bank off of that shit.
Probably.
Crazy.
He's
All
just
right.
rolling in hats.
If anyone out there has a big mobile game, I'll put my name on it.
Yeah.
Throw some money my way.
All right. That's it for news this week, guys. We're ready for the community?
Yeah.
All right. I want to start things off, of course, by reading the top 5 of our supporter spotlight for the month of November, which is Dr. Waltz, who I believe is still in chat. Last week, we introduced Dr. Waltz to everybody, but this week, we're going to share his top 5 games of all time. I'm going to go ahead and just read this off. He numbered them, which is nice. His number 5 game of all time is Resident Evil 4, which, by the
Very
way,
nice,
I'm
very
hoping
nice.
to God I can start that game next week. I forgot how fucking long Code Veronica is. Jesus Christ. Resident Evil 4, he says, strikes the perfect balance between horror and action. That is kind of true. I think that's kind of what made that game so fucking special. Brad?
Yeah.
What?
Resident Evil 4? How you feel about Resident Evil 4? You like Resident Evil 4?
Yeah, it's one of the best games ever made. Everybody
That's
knows
true.
that.
It's a fact.
Everybody knows that.
All right, number 4, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Great game.
Even though the map is objectively smaller than GTA 4's, the world feels so much more alive and probably has the best characters and story out of the series. I do agree with that, and I think a lot of that has to do with all of that expanse. You feel like you have 3 distinct cities in San Andreas, which is cool because you have, what was it, like
Vinewood. And...
yeah, but like
I remember the names.
they're like help me out, like
I don't-
New
dude,
York City.
It's L.A. and then there's like a Vegas,
There's a
right?
San Francisco,
or
isn't there?
Nevada.
Wait, right?
We're talking about San Andreas.
San Andreas, right? There's 3 cities.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the names of the games in the cities, but they're modeled after 3 real-world cities, and I'm trying to remember which ones they were. But they're all kind of placed together on the map, and you drive in between. You can go
Correct.
in between them, but I can't remember which 3 cities they were. It's been so fucking. So L.A., San Francisco, and Las Vegas. Thank you, Chris Davis, for giving me that answer.
That game's also cool because that was when like Rockstar really started trying to go like the whole sim route.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could
That
like,
was the
gain a
first
bunch
game,
of
like,
weight.
which
That
they
was the first game
backtracked
where
on
you had to
that.
like you had to pay attention to like
what you
know,
eat, and
your-
you got to go fucking like fucking do some chest
You're
press.
seeing some of that
Like,
stuff
working
come
out.
back in
ride
Red Dead
a
Redemption
bike.
2. for
yeah.
the
Which,
first
by the
time.
way, I'm trying
that
to like
stuff's been gone.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to keep my eye
Well,
on my weight.
it
in
was
Red
in
Dead.
5 a bit.
It was in
little
5.
bit,
a
yeah.
little bit. Like
I was trying to keep my eye on my weight in Red Dead 2, but every time I go take a bath, I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting so skinny. What the fuck? And I'm eating all the time.
Yeah.
I think that system's a little broken in Red
I'm
Dead 2.
constantly underweight in Red Dead 2.
Yeah, but I've seen people posting their
Hey,
pictures
I'll
of,
give you some tips.
there's people posting
And their
images of,
Morgan's like fucking
yeah, and you're
plump.
like, okay, so it's possible.
He's looking jolly.
You need to find a Whataburger.
I don't think they had those in the old West brand.
His number 3 game of all time is System Shock 2. It has amazing atmosphere, great music, and a great dynamic between Shodan and the player. What's not to like?
Yeah.
I really wish I had finished that game,
You
but I
could
didn't.
still finish.
I know. Well, no, I'm not. Do you know how much you know how much I would have to redo in that game to get back to that point? I'm kind of just excited to wait and see what happens with this new Night Dive Studios System Shock remake. His number 2 game, Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines. Possibly the greatest world building I've seen in a Western RPG. Unfortunately, plagued with bugs and feels incomplete towards the end, but not many games can hold a candle to it in terms of lore and immersion.
I really like that game.
Yeah,
I have never touched it.
it's really good.
It's interesting.
When did that come out? That's
You'd
an
like
older
it.
game,
You'd
right?
like it.
That was like an Xbox era game,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Correct.
Like 2000.
I'm assuming
or 3
I'm
or
assuming
something?
it's best to play that on PC though.
It's only on PC.
Oh yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Bloodlines. Yeah.
Well, there's that. then.
Wait, what are we
Oh, I
talking?
thought they put it on a. I don't know.
Are we
maybe.
talking about Bloodlines? No, that's only on PC.
Vampire the Masquerade?
Bloodlines. Yeah,
Bloodlines.
only PC.
Wasn't there a Vampire the Masquerade though?
But it
on
did come out
Xbox?
early 2000s.
I don't remember.
No, there's Vampire Reign. Maybe you're thinking of that. That's not the same.
That
thing.
might definitely not the same thing for sure. And Dr. Walt's number 1 game of all time. I totally agree with this. Haha! Final Fantasy IX. My favorite game, probably due to a combination of great storyline, characters, music, and nostalgia. Combat can be slow and tedious, but this is ameliorated in the PC. Ameliorated? Is that?
Yeah.
Am I just-
Yeah.
It looks real. I'm not familiar with it. but this is ameliorated in the PC version since you can fast forward through slow ATB meter buildup. Combat in Final Fantasy IX never been my favorite, but everything else around that game,
And you have
around
to
the
use
combat,
Zidane, who's just a thief.
I don't know why you hate that character
Just
so
a
much.
thief. What does that mean?
He has no... In Final Fantasy terms, thieves don't actually contribute too much to battle. You know, it's not like D&D where a thief is like the dopest person.
Well,
But they
there's-
steal good
there's-
items.
They steal, and then sometimes they can mug, which is do a little bit of
there-
damage.
Doesn't that kind of make him an inspired, like make that an inspired choice for making
It's
your
not a
main
perfect
character?
analogy, but I get what you're saying.
I'd like to maybe switch them out. It'd be nice.
Fair enough. But I have so many fond memories of Final Fantasy IX. I'm so glad you picked that because that game is so fucking good. It has one of the
Amaranth.
best soundtracks ever. It has one of my favorite worlds ever.
It does
from
have
the
a really good
PlayStation 1
soundtrack.
era. Oh my god. Whew. So good. So let's see. I was going to... Yeah, so next week we will talk about... he's going to recommend a game to everybody, and we'll talk about his most cherished gaming related memory. But yeah, that's Dr. Waltz. Thank you for being our supporter spotlight for the month.
Dr. Vaults.
Dr. Waltz. He is confirmed in chat. Thank you for sharing. And now, Nolan, hit us with some supporter questions.
Let's get to our patrons.
This
Yeah,
part
our
makes
supporters.
me nervous every week.
I will say, no new patrons this week. That's okay. We still love our current patrons and
do.
some of the questions they ask us. Like this question from B Rice. What's y'all's favorite sandwich place in Austin?
We answered that recently, right?
No, we didn't. We did pizza.
Well, somebody asked us about sandwiches at some point.
Yeah,
but
we did.
I don't remember. Was I here?
Maybe not.
I don't remember that.
Possibly not.
I
I
specifically...
don't know what we said.
A lot
I
of the
think we were
sandwich
talking
places
about
I eat are chains, though. They're not specific to Austin.
I really like a local deli called G's Deli.
Jeez.
Like the letter G.
We did talk about this recently. I fucking know we did. Because
So, I don't know if I was
Thundercloud. They're pretty good.
Thundercloud.
no, I brought up the one that was in Oak Hill.
I don't know that one.
Really? Two cheese.
Two cheese?
Yeah. Two cheese.
I'm not
What's
familiar.
up, Chris Davis?
Noble sandwich is pretty good.
The Noble Sandwich. I had that for the
Noble
first time because their food truck came to my work. It's pretty good.
How do you feel about
Limited
hoodies?
menu for the truck, but pretty good.
About what?
Hoodies?
I've never been to Hoodies.
Hoodies is
Oh.
good.
The
Here in
kebabs count as sandwiches.
I'm
Halal Bros
honestly a
is
big
really
fan
good.
of Jersey Mike's. I know that's not like
No, Jersey
No,
Mike's
Jersey
is
Mike's
great.
is great.
Jersey
I love
Mike's is great, and that used to be my favorite sandwich place.
Yeah.
My new favorite sandwich place is Potbelly's. I
like Jersey Mike's over Potbelly's. Don't get me wrong. I like
I do
Potbelly's atmosphere. I like the atmosphere in the restaurant.
Their fucking hot peppers, woo, so good. Hot peppers in the sandwiches, and they have shakes.
Sometimes they'll do like bacon mac and cheese. at
I know
Potbelly's.
it's not a sandwich place, but what is the name
We
of
did talk about this because remember I said I have my banana shake.
It's a
With my
very
Potbelly
different kind of
sandwich.
sandwich, but I can get down with some Firehouse.
Firehouse is alright.
Get like a New York
I know it's not a
steamer.
sandwich place, but what was that Cuban place
Steamer.
we went to in South Austin? They have Cubanos that are
Cuba 512.
Cuba 512.
Yeah.
Dude,
Not
their
really a sandwich
Cubanos
place.
are so fucking good.
Cubano is fucking great, but they also do a lot of other really good traditional Cuban dishes.
Yeah. But yeah, so come to Austin and eat some good sandwiches.
Halal bars.
Halal bars is great. I mean, it's not really a sandwich place.
It's like shawarma and fucking kebabs. It's
I guess so.
basically sandwich.
Mr. Green Toast, would you rather
Oh god.
wear the same pair of underwear for 1 week without washing it,
Yes.
Done.
Yeah, done.
or
I think I'm on day 6.
stop brushing your teeth, cleaning your
Oh
mouth for
god,
a
underwear,
week?
110%.
Yes. Yeah.
Underwear.
Underwear 100%.
Oh my
Dude,
god.
I can't go a day without brushing my teeth.
Oh my god.
And even right now, my teeth are feeling. Now
I
that I'm
recently
thinking about it.
like,
I
there's
haven't
one-
brushed my teeth since this morning.
I'm gonna
like,
be totally honest.
Getting furry.
Yeah.
One day since Red Dead 2 came out, I played Red Dead 2 until like wee hours in the morning, much later than I usually stay up. And I decided that I was so tired I wasn't going to brush my teeth before going to bed. I woke up the next morning and I was like, "Why did I do this to
Yeah.
myself?"
It's never a good idea. There's some times where I'm like, oh, I'm running late. I don't need to brush my teeth, and then I'm like walking out the door and I'm like, nah, I really should.
That is
I really
not.
should.
That is not even a question.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong.
Toast must wear some tidy whities or something.
Don't get me
If you
wrong.
wear boxers, I mean,
I wear boxer briefs.
inside out, and
I still don't love like fresh underwear is so much better than worn underwear.
Oh, of course.
Like,
yeah, but
if-
how long does it take for underwear to get to the point where you can tell that it's not fresh? I feel like it's a
Depends
couple
on what
days.
you're doing.
I feel like it's a couple days.
what you're doing. No, but if it's like if I go to work and I come home and I do something, maybe I need to like change or something. If I take off my underwear, I'm probably not putting that pair back on. Like it just feels weird to me.
Yeah.
I like a fresh pair. I'll grab a fresh pair.
But is
a
non-fresh pair of
every time
underwear-
I take off underwear, I put
is a
on a
non-fresh
fresh
pair of underwear worse than having your teeth feel like
No.
hair is growing on them?
no, 100% no.
It's not hair; it's gunk.
I know, but like it feels kind of like a thin film of hair.
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking
Until
of
it gets
hair,
really thick.
Fuzzy Turd
It
asks,
feels fuzzy, like a turd.
"What is the most twistedly morbid video game you've ever played?"
Oh, what?
That's a tough one.
Oh, how about JFK The Kill?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there's
Jesus.
somebody
Jesus.
made a game you can download. I don't know if that's what it's called. It's like The Kill or The Shot, but it is like an exact timed simulation of the presidential motorcade going through Dealey Plaza, and like the whole point of the game is to see if you can shoot Kennedy, kill him, and get like the 3 shots, like the one that goes into his head, the one that like comes out of his shoulder and goes into the governor's shoulder, and then like into his wrist. If you can do that in 1 shot.
So is it literally just trying to like?
It's trying to basically it's like a simulation trying to debunk or trying to prove the quote unquote magic bullet.
That's weird.
Like that like you could
don't-
like hit him with 1 shot and it would cause all of the wounds that were
Nolan,
reported.
What's up, Brad?
you stuck a sushi roll in a chick's asshole.
So I did want to say it's not so
Jeez,
much
bro.
morbid,
That's what's
but I did want to say
It's called JFK Reloaded.
I've played some Senran Kagura games, multiple games, but it wasn't until Peach Beach Splash that I was kind of like, I'm done with this. Like those other games,
is
I
that
think,
morbid though.
and that's what I was saying. It's not morbid, but it is twisted. I would say, like those earlier games, I could. The gameplay mechanic I enjoyed a little bit more of the kind of like start at point A, defeat some enemies, get to point B, defeat a boss, blah blah blah. Whereas this one, it's literally just squirting like people with water guns and stuff, and it is just like,
There's a new game that's coming out
yeah, I know.
with that doesn't have any like of the quote unquote gameplay. And it's
yeah.
just all like the
dress up and
the fondling
yeah.
and stuff. Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
and it calls it the sweeter side of Senran Kagura.
oh,
that's gross.
that's,
I mean, that's real creepy, but is that morbid?
I mean,
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Twisted.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to top Krispies.
Yeah, that one's pretty morbid.
The morbid shit that I play is pretty predictable. You know,
Yeah.
I would consider anything in the Silent
Like a
Hill
horror game?
series to be pretty morbid because that game is literally just like oppressive as fuck. And you know, Fatal Frame I would consider pretty morbid because there's like no relief. There's no relief at all. It's just like pure dread and just depression and
Surgeon Simulator.
All right, let's move on. Next question from Zero Skies. There are, quote, game dev sim games out there. If there were a podcast sim game, what would you put in the game as the events or decisions? Would it be closer to a regular The Sims game where your podcasters have moods and relationships?
Yeah, for sure.
yes, there would also be a mini game in there where you're trying to wrangle everybody to do a certain task, like
Yeah.
fill out a doc.
Or like last minute no shows, having to like pull from your bench to fill out the couch.
Yeah,
the goal is not to make money, though, right? That can't be the goal of this game.
Right. We're just bad at it.
It's like The Sims where it's like the people are sitting on the couch and then the mixer starts smoking and stuff
But I mean,
like that.
like some of the stuff, like some of the like basic mechanics that you would expect, like upgrading, you know, like upgrading the podcast studio, better mic, like that's literally. Just
I think
what
the
we
challenge
do.
is just
Like-
to keep it going from week to week without having everybody like
Right.
hate each other and give up on it.
to hit an episode.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens.
I definitely
with a lot of
think
podcasts.
like mood and attitudes of the individual people counts because like you know we like a lot of this is just us talking and our personalities hanging out. So like there would have to be things where it's like like these guys have to go hang out to like build their relationship and things like that.
very true. Very true.
convincing people it's like more worth it to do the podcast than to go like play D&D or see some stupid like movie or something.
Why are you looking at me like that, Brad?
All right, moving on. Next question from Ms. Lizbeth. Hey guys, hope you're doing well. My question is in regards to an article, if it's even deemed worthy of being called that, online about how the Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay demo had poor writing. I thought the writing was over the top, but that's mainly due to the genre it's set in. What were your thoughts on Cyberpunk as a genre, and do you think the over-the-top dialogue suits the game's setting well, considering it's more fitting with the original story RPG game? Or do you think it would have been better to go with a more subtle approach to the writing?
I think a lot of that over-the-topness kind of defines the genre. A lot of the Cyberpunk stuff that I don't claim to be, exposed to a lot of it, I suppose, but like
you're not?
The stuff like
Are you qualified to answer this question,
But
Nicholas?
the Cyberpunk stuff that I've played, the few movies that I've seen that I would say fall into that, they've all kind of had this like exaggerated feeling to them, the way they're written, the way they're acted, the way the dialogue is and stuff.
Not most recent Blade Runner.
I think
Blade Runner 2049 might be an
I think that's less
exception to the rule.
cyberpunk and more neo-noir.
Yeah,
if we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
You want to
sure.
get technical.
Yeah, like cyberpunk is a great genre. I love it. It deals with a lot of really interesting themes and a lot of like subject matter. It tends to do it in a very sensationalistic way, which tends to like flatten out some of the nuances of the themes it's trying to explore. I think The Matrix is a great example of how that sensationalistic kind of like over the topness of a story can both be like very helpful in reaching a certain audience, but then also like kind of put out as much weird and negativeness as it does like positive. It can kind of like push out these weird net results. And I think The Matrix in particular is an interesting case because if you go back and look at that movie, it's a fantastic movie. It's got some like really great ideas. It's also got some really like not great ideas. And then if you look at Matrix Reloaded, which is nowhere near as good of a film, it is definitely not that good of a film, but it is interesting because it comes from a completely different like ideological mindset. Like it's almost like when the studio went to the Wachowskis and were like, hey, make a sequel to The Matrix because it made $1 billion and we want more money. They kind of like had changed, their perspective had changed, and like a lot of their frustrations that they were going through when they were writing The Matrix had resolved, or they had like they had just changed and grown a bit, and they kind of looked back on The Matrix and like kind of did something that was an answer that really was kind of a rebuttal to The Matrix. Like the kind of ideological viewpoint of Reloaded is completely different from the first Matrix, and I think that is kind of just like, I think a lot of what it's rebutting is very common specifically to cyberpunk. And it's interesting. I mean, it's a great it's a great genre.
There's a lot of different ways to explore the
but
genre.
It's definitely, it tends to be more of a hammer than a scalpel.
Long story short, I think most of us think it suits it.
Yeah.
Also, I have enough faith, if we're talking specifically about the writing in the cyberpunk demo, nothing, first of all, when I saw that demo, nothing struck me as like, what did she say? Bad writing, or it didn't, or over the top. Over the top. I mean, maybe a little bit over the top, but like, I played 70 hours of The Witcher 3, and I know that team is capable of writing some top-notch stories, great characters, and if they're exaggerating stuff and making this over-the-top nature of this game, I'm pretty sure it's intentional.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's move on.
I'm not worried about it.
Next question. Shadow Step. When you are old, what do you think children will ask you to tell stories about?
Oh, God. That's actually
life before the internet.
No, here's the weird thing, because
life before smartphones.
Our generation is constantly in that situation where we're talking to people who are older than us, and it's kind of, we're always struggling to think about life before cell phones, before the internet, and I feel like we are. Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm confused by your statement.
You don't feel like you're constantly talking to people and like who lived before you and didn't have access to the internet, and it's kind of like, how did you live without the internet?
But
I lived without the internet.
Yeah, we grew up in like we went through our formative years without that, and like I didn't get a smartphone until I was 22, and definitely it has changed like my life, but I can remember when this wasn't a thing.
I haven't. I struggle remembering life.
Well, I get. Well, you count. I mean, You probably had a computer in your house and stuff. I didn't have a computer in my house until I was like 17. Like I didn't have internet. And so, yeah, I definitely grew up I didn't have a cell phone until I was in college. And so, I mean, yeah, I definitely... people around this generation was that kind of dividing gap, that jump. And so I definitely 100% remember a time when I was at dinner with people and people weren't staring at their phones the whole time. I definitely remember that. And
that's crazy. I mean, that was... Yeah. It's fucking weird.
The weird thing to me, the weird thing to think about is that when I'm talking to my kids about...
You have kids?
When I have kids...
His cats.
When I have kids and I'm talking to them about what it was like when I was growing up or when I was, even this age now, I'm going to be talking to them about... I feel like there's going to be just as big of a jump between now and then.
There might even be a bigger jump.
It might even be a bigger jump.
I'm going to tell them, when they talked about new technology, they talked about the number of songs that could be held on a device.
I remember...
We used to drive our own vehicles.
I remember being in middle school and seeing somebody with an MP3 player for the first time and asking them what that was, and them being like, oh, it's an MP3 player, and me going,
What's an
cool,
MP3?
What's an MP3? And them trying to explain it to me, and me like... absolutely not understanding what the fuck they were talking about.
I remember when they released CD players that had the anti-skip functions, so the fucking CD wouldn't skip.
When the CD players could play CDs that had burned MP3s on it, that was everything, man. Oh,
I remember fucking burning CDs.
Back when you had, if you were on the internet on your computer, nobody could call in or call out to your house.
Dude, I used to have internet answering machine. Like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, it was a little program you'd got, and like if somebody tried to call you while you were on the phone line on the internet, it would like do a caller ID, and then they could leave a message, and it would like pop up on your computer, and you click play, and it would be a fucking
That's bizarre.
voicemail.
I never heard that. I remember playing Warcraft 3, going over to Joel's house. We both played Warcraft 3, and during that time we had I remember his parents making a big deal because they couldn't get phone calls or anything.
Right,
They were like, we're doing this anyways.
Yeah.
I remember house phones.
Yeah, that's another
Hey,
thing.
kids.
I think it's strange because to really think about this question, though, it kind of forces you to think about like what the future is going to be like,
Well,
which
that's
I'd
always
really
hard
rather
to
not
tell.
think about right now.
So let's get to some questions from our supporters in Discord.
Oh, yeah.
Because we do have a channel in Discord where if you are not a patron but you support us via Twitch, you can ask us questions of the podcast in there. So the first one this week comes from Thorax. Which Naughty Dog power would you prefer to have? Nathan Drake's ability to parkour and charm his way out of tough situations, or Joel's old man strength and super hearing? P.S. Excited to support you guys using my Twitch Prime sub.
Thank you for the question, Thorax. I'm going to go with Drake, obviously. I think being able to parkour and be and how did he say, what is the word he used? So
charm his way out of tough situations.
I would like to be able to charm my way out of tough
Drake is definitely a lot more
situations.
charming than Joel.
Yeah,
I
there's
will say
nothing
that.
about Joel that makes me want to be him.
Yeah, he just seems like he has kind of a
Yeah.
he seems like he has kind of a shit life. I don't know about I'd want that.
He knows how to do what it takes.
That's true.
He gets things done.
That is true.
So are you going with Joel?
No, I'm going with Nathan because rogues are way better than fighters. But
Nobody wants to just get shit done.
Yeah, I definitely
wanna
would lean
charm
towards
my
Nathan.
way
I
out
mean,
of
Joel's
situations.
definitely just like the fucking fighter. Like he just fucking barrels through any situation.
He's
and,
the blunt
and
opposite.
But he
Drake's
also-
much more like
I would
clever.
say Drake. Combining their names. Drake is better at kind of like, I don't want to say good luck, but kind of just like being in a shitty situation and trying to get. Whereas Joel is better at planning ahead for that situation because you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You have to have a plan. And
Joel doesn't live in a. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
comparatively doesn't live in a fantasy world where like a smile and quick wit will get you through. You
Yeah.
know, like.
Anyway, let's move on. Final question this evening from Uranium Bullet. Nick, do you still listen to the band Hands Like Houses? You got me into them you got me into talking about them on a show years ago. They're pretty good, so thanks. Oh, and do any of you all listen to other bands with weird, comedic, or stupid names? I found some gems recently. How about Scrotum Stapler, Jesus Chrysler, and the Jack Officers?
I've never heard of any of those.
Hoping this leads to some smart educational discussions.
I do still listen to that band, though I have not heard their last album or two.
What, like the Butthole Surfers? Does that count?
I had a teacher in high school that dated the lead singer of the Butthole Surfers.
Really?
Yeah, my social studies teacher. And
I was going to say not like a student, right?
no. One of my teachers dated the lead singer.
I've never really been into music that much. Most of the stuff I listen to is fairly like, other people. I don't listen to niche things. I listen to shit like, I don't know, like Modest Mouse and Vampire Weekend.
Those are some crazy names.
The Shins.
That one's not that good.
Huh?
That one's not that good.
I know.
We're talking about names.
Arcade Fire.
That's actually a pretty morbid
Arctic
name.
Monkeys.
I love talking about music, but I'm like, it's just such a broad, like,
Video game soundtracks.
I don't even know how that conversation even came up on a previous podcast, and how Brad turned it into a joke about trying to masturbate with a hand on your house.
Yep.
Or a house
on your hand, yeah.
Just opening up. You say you just open a window? Yeah, I don't have anything nearly as interesting.
I would have to open a door. Hopefully a double door. But yeah.
I'd have to open the garage.
Oh, shit.
All
right.
We didn't answer that question at all.
I don't know. Maybe ask the question again in a different way next week. Like, I don't know. If you're looking for specific recommendations on music, I love talking about music. You can chat me up in Discord at any time. We have a specific channel made for TV music and movies, whatever. Just if you want to talk about music, I am all for it.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, so that's all the questions this week from our supporters, both on Patreon and on Discord. Once again, we post a thread on Patreon every week where patrons can ask us any questions, and then you're also welcome to ask them in the supporter channels in Discord at discord.gg/4Player.
Thank you, Nolan. Mm-hmm. All right, time to wrap up the show. You know how it works. Hype, sweat, thank you, fuck you. Brad?
Yeah.
Take it away.
My fuck you.
Faster, Brad, faster.
Hey. My fuck you is going to go to Nintendo and Smash Brothers. I watched a video. So after this most recent direct, they've kind of confirmed the rest of the characters and the rest of the assist trophies. Advance Wars only ever had one single representation, basically, in a Smash Brothers game. Starting with Brawl, they had an assist trophy where little tiny, Orange Star Army fucking units would come out, little tanks and infantrymen.
Yeah.
They removed that from this one. That's one of the ones that got cut. There's 59 assist trophies, and they cut a handful of them.
Oh.
And so the single representation of Advance Wars in Smash Brothers has been cut. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck off. By the way, I counted them. 7 Fire Emblem fighters.
Jesus Christ.
And 3 Fire Emblem assist trophies.
I really like that.
No Advance Wars, both made by Intelligent Systems.
There's
both been around since the Famicom days. Fuck you.
There's an alternate reality out there where Fire Emblem died and Advance Wars was the new hotness.
But whatever. I mean, I like Fire Emblem. I used to. My sweat, I'm gonna give it. My sweat, I'm gonna give it to Beat Saber. I was excited because they're finally announced it for PSVR, and that's one of people really hyped up and have been enjoying Beat Saber since it had come out on PC for those VR machines. Just a really dope thing. But I think one of the big reasons Beat Saber was dope is because people were kind of putting their own songs, modding their own songs into the game. The one coming to PSVR, I'm absolutely sure is not going to have that option. So I'm excited about Beat Saber because I've heard a lot of really cool things, but I think I'm only going to be playing their own music that they made for the game, and that's kind of a bummer. I already saw, remember that Tetris Effect song?
Mm-hmm.
I saw that in Beat Saber, and it's like, man, I want to fucking play that. But you can't with the PSVR. You have to have a real fucking grown-up VR. Damn it. My hype, we kind of talked a little bit about earlier or before the show. I'm really excited as I hear and see more about Just Cause 4. I think that game, like, people kind of are gonna let that one slip under the radar. It comes out in December.
Yep.
But I think it's probably gonna be really fucking fun. All the weather stuff looks really fucking cool, and more. Like, I think it's gonna be the one that finally nails it. I feel like Just Cause 3.
Would you say it's going to be revelatory?
No.
Oh,
It's gonna be like,
well, fuck.
probably the most fun you can have maybe with a video game this year, for all we know.
You haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2 yet, sir.
That's a very different kind of fun.
That is
But
true.
yeah. And I guess
In Red Dead Redemption 2, you get on a horse and you slap it and say, fuck it, I'm out. And then it just starts shitting.
my thank you.
It's fun.
Wait, can you really slap your horse and make it shit?
I don't know.
And
You
my
have to put the finger... No.
and my
Oh,
thank
no.
you. My thank you goes to, I guess, all of us who've collectively bought a copy of Astrobot. I did finally finish playing that game, and it is wondrous. And also thank you to Nolan, who I know is going to play through that game soon.
That ties into my 4-player minute, which starts now because my hype is for Astrobot. I am excited. Brad finally brought it over after fucking a month.
It's so good.
and I finally get a chance to play it. So I'm excited for that. Definitely hyped. I'm really been getting into
It's so
some
good.
of the VR
It
experiences.
keeps surprising you.
All right,
it's
I'm
so
glad. I'm
fucking
excited
good.
for it. My sweat is for Red Dead Redemption 2. Like I said, I feel like I really wish the game kept a count of how many hours you played it, because I really do feel like I'm like 40,
doesn't want you to
50
think
hours.
about it.
Probably. Super deep into this game, but like I'm like, I think 31% done with the story. And it's just so much in this world, and I want to explore it all, and I want to take it all in. And it's just like, oh my God. Second sweat this week is for Fallout 76. That beta did not get me as hyped as I was from that first trailer, and some of the original stuff we saw from this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what game?
Fallout 76.
76. I'm kind of worried about it. To the point where I'm like, do I even want to bother playing it in 2018? It seems like that's going to be a huge time suck that I could be
Getting to
spending
that
on
part
other
where
games.
we need to start prioritizing.
Exactly.
No. No.
And then my fuck you is going to go to Tetris Effect. Because fuck some of those modes where the shit starts changing. Whatever, that's fine. I can deal with this. I can deal with it. Flip the screen backs and it moves some stuff around. But when the game flips upside down, go fuck yourself, game. When it's completely inverted and left is right and right is left and up is up, down and down is up, I get fucked. Because there's a level it's like, oh, clear 150 lines, and you're like, I can do that easy. But when it starts doing that shit, I'm done. Like, if it's throwing like, throws a big block at me,
Is that an optional mode?
it's like it's like a kind of a side thing you can do. It throws like, you have to eliminate this block, otherwise it'll delete everything it's touching, which kind of fucks you. That's fine. If it throws like the blocks that are misshapen, that's fine. I can't handle when it flips it upside down. That just completely throws me off. Fuck you. All right, that's it.
Crispy?
My hype this week is for... Hang on. Let me think about this. How do you say it?
No Mansky.
I don't know.
Thronebreaker Witcher's Tale?
Thronebreaker.
Witcher... The Witcher
The
Tales?
Witcher Tales.
Yeah.
The Witcher Tales?
Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales?
Thronebreaker.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah. How much did you play?
I mean, like, I
Dabble.
played an hour or two before I came. But already, like, Gwent seems much more
It's very fucking
fleshed
different,
out
man.
than what I remember
It's
it being.
very fucking different.
It's
It is
crazy.
way more like active,
And, like, all
it's
the
not just
art-
math.
All the art in the game is fucking
Gorgeous.
spot on. Like
Queen
it's,
Maeve is
it's-
such a badass,
Yeah, it's
too.
really great. The acting, the writing,
And there's Banner Saga stuff in that game where you make tough decisions and like shit comes back on you, man.
It's
Like
fucking-
I've had some surprising stuff happen. It's cool.
It's fucking great.
And I met a character from the books. Oh, fucking cool.
My sweat is also for Fallout 76 for a lot of the reasons mentioned already.
Mm-hmm.
You should listen to our Fallout 76 discussion. My fuck you for this week goes to those guys, the guys that Chris Davis knows, that I know he knows, and he knows I know he knows. The guys that do Payday 2.
Oh.
Overkill, yeah. And it's not like a fuck you in a bad way. It's like a fuck you in a good way. But just because they finally like released the quote unquote true ending of Payday 2, and I was reading about it, and it is just.
I didn't know there was an ending.
It is insane. Like there's like a whole 15-minute like short film that plays if you like do this whole thing, and it's like I guess I mean I don't know much about Payday. It's been years since I've played it, but like. They really went some weird places, and it's like
Some unexpected
it's kind of
places.
funny. I don't know. I mean, it definitely suits a series like that where like, you know, nobody takes that game too seriously. They shouldn't either. You know.
Speaking
Yeah.
of Overkill, I think their Walking Dead game just launched.
It
Or is
did,
about
yeah.
to launch.
Really?
I saw a review that's like bad.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you're interested, I think it, good or bad, I have no idea. But the ending to Payday 2 is definitely interesting.
Bonkers.
Maybe look up the story about that. And
Maybe I'll play it.
and my I don't know.
We didn't say that.
And my my thank you this week was gonna go to Brad, but now I don't know, man. Fucking snub me on your thank you. I bought Astrobot. I'm gonna play that shit.
Oh well.
Fuck you.
No. Hey,
Fuck you, Brad.
fucking play it. I mean,
Fuck you, Brad.
it took me a while to get through it, but I was still playing it.
stop.
You gotta turn it on.
Oh, you bitch. but
Stop being a bitch and play.
but in all seriousness, thanks, Brad, for being very adamant about Thronebreaker, because that one really could have gotten lost in the weeds.
Yeah.
But it's fucking legit. I forgot how much I missed card
Gwent.
games on a computer. I love it. It's
And the
great.
Witcher universe.
Yeah, come on.
Well, of course. Of course, Brad.
Don't be a little bitch.
All right. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype, of course, is as you probably guessed, Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm still so fucking engrossed in this game, and I haven't even entered the second half of the map yet, which...
Yep.
Is there anything stopping you from riding your horse over there?
Well, yeah,
No.
you're wanted dead or alive. In
I
that
mean,
part
who
of the map.
cares?
But
You
like,
can
if you
ride
sneak
through
in
it.
the middle of the night, there's not going to be anybody.
One
there,
and Dead
right?
or Alive's at like 5 island.
Basically,
you know?
I mean, you go in
No,
there
it
and there's-
essentially means if a lawman sees you, they'll start shooting at you. That's all it means.
But last time I went through an area like that, when I had that $300 bounty, there were
They
fucking bounty
start
hunters
sending
everywhere.
tanks and helicopters after you.
Anyways, the point is, I'm actually specifically very excited to enter that second portion of the map, which is from Red Dead 1, to see it in all
Spoilers.
of, to see it in all of
Yeah.
its, new, current gen glory, which I think will be really
But it's
cool.
older
It's,
because it's before.
yeah, you know what I mean.
I guess that's how they can get away. I haven't been there yet, so I don't know. They could technically get away with it looking slightly newer because it takes place before
It
Red
just
Dead.
looks better because of the graphics, but it's still...
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I mean. And also, like, there's so many layers of like detail and stuff that wasn't present in the first game that's going to be present now because this game is just fucking overflowing with detail. It's incredible. I can't wait to go to that part of the map. My sweat is for the future of Final Fantasy. Following this news about Tabata. Not necessarily because I was super attached to Tabata or his influence or his effect on the series, but mostly just because, like, man, I remembered a time when Final Fantasy was like the
Cool.
thing that I fucking look at. Was,
100%.
It was like my favorite video game
100%.
series, and I was always excited to see what was happening with it. And I feel like it's been so long since I've had that kind of faith in the series. It's been so long since I've seen an announcement for a Final Fantasy game and been like, that looks like the fucking game I've been waiting
can't
to play.
wait.
I feel like Square Enix is going to get to the point, like, I think where I'm at with, like, where everyone's at with, like, Konami, where it's like, even if they said they were going to do a new Metal Gear or Silent Hill or Castlevania, you're just like, bitch, you don't have the people to make the game that we want.
Yeah.
You're done. So I'm worried that Square Enix is going to get to the point where, like, we don't even believe that they can make a Final Fantasy game that is any good anymore.
I'm hoping Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out and it's revelatory.
I mean,
know.
I think it'd be fine.
Like a... Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to go there.
You know what I fucking noticed? It's a little weird, and maybe I'm a little off base here, but I watched a trailer for Kingdom Hearts that was made for Japan, released in Japan,
Yes.
and like there's way more Disney stuff,
Really?
and like versus the trailers for over here, which it seems like Leans a
It's
little
just
too
like a
much on
cultural thing.
Organization 13 or
13.
whatever the fuck, and all the.
Because they think Americans won't buy it if it's too Disney.
Maybe, I don't know, but like the Disney stuff is like what excites me about that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Me
it's
too.
like,
They released a
give
new
me
trailer
that.
the other day, but with Tangled. I love that movie.
I was watching Mickey Mouse shorts, and it was like kind of making me be like, should I play Kingdom Hearts?
Yes,
Like,
the answer is yes.
Like, this Kingdom
Oh.
Hearts anime is amazing.
My thank you goes to everyone on this podcast for always having awesome recommendations for games to play, even though I don't have the time to play them all. Mostly because I'm gonna be going out of town.
Thanks for all the recommendations. I'm gonna ignore, guys.
No, but I mean, like, I'm going out of town for this trip.
Yeah, I know.
For Thanksgiving, and I have like so many options. I'm gonna play Return of the Obra Dinn, but I don't know. I'm considering downloading it on my laptop, and because I have a graphics card in that laptop, I can probably play that game on the plane if I wanted to. Or I'm thinking about getting 7 Billion Humans and
You know what
playing
you
it on my
really
Switch.
could do, Nick?
What?
Come home from work tomorrow, start playing it, and you'll be done by the time you go to bed.
Maybe I will do that, Crispy. Maybe I will.
Maybe he will.
The point is, thank you all for always having wonderful recommendations, and I'm interested in playing Thronebreaker too. I don't know, it's just that's why I love doing this podcast, because there's always an abundance of things to be excited about and play.
Fuck you to Square Enix for not putting Moana in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
3.
seriously.
Do you think they have enough time for that?
My
Good point.
fuck you of the week though
newer.
goes to myself, because I'm pretty sure by this time next week I will have gone out and bought my own VR.
Ooh.
But then, hey, we'll all have a VR. We don't have to keep
true.
passing it around. It'll be great.
Well, especially if you have HDR, right? Because the newer one has the box where it doesn't kill your HDR.
Correct.
The old one does. Right?
Yeah.
Correct.
You have the newer one?
I have the old one.
Oh.
So that's a good thing. I'll probably be getting the newer one.
What?
But
They did
Talk
a
about it after the
version of
show.
it with a
We'll
different
talk about it
box.
after the
Okay.
show.
PlayStation VR. I'm going to buy that probably the next week. So fuck me. But yeah, that is it. That's our show, guys. Thank you so much for watching or for listening. We appreciate you tuning in. Of course, we record these episodes every single Thursday night at 8 p.m. on 4pp.tv. You can also watch us every single day on Twitch at twitch.tv/4playerpodcast. 4playernetwork.com is the website, Discord, Patreon, all that good stuff. Join us again next week. Again, I will not be here, but Ed will be here in my stead. And yeah, actually, that means I probably won't be on a podcast until after Thanksgiving.
Ed.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yay.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching / listening. We will catch you guys next week.
Bye.